ready to get this one on. Tartan will be moving from left to right across your monitor to start this game. They are decked out in the Air Force blue and silver. Irondale moving right to left in the white jerseys with maroon and gold trim. We'll play 3 periods, 17 minutes in length. We'll resurface after the first and second period. Now, they jam away on the end boards. It's kicked free. With it is Parent. He'll send that over to his partner, Tesser. There's a turnover now in the high slot. That one shot stick to side by McGuire. That was a wrister from Forrest. Puck comes back to Forrest, and he'll clamp down on that and freeze it.
Couple of good early chances here for Irondale in the offensive zone. Like to see right out of the gate, 33 seconds into the game. Just put the puck toward the net and get your feet wet in the offensive zone.
Absolutely. On the season, Irondale, 95 goals for, 79 goals against. That's good for plus 16. Tartan, 73 goals for, 87 goals against, minus 14. Tartan outscoring their opponents though in the first period. Check that. Irondale outscoring their opponents in the first period 31-27. Now with it for Tartan around there, that was Jorgensen. Puck comes around on the far boards. Campbell had it. Now the Titans will look to get it out to center. Here's Pavel. Pavel goes to work on Irondale's D, but that one is played perfectly by Remore. Remore along the near boards. Scoots out to center. Carries it into the Titan zone. Avoided a hip check. Remore with a shot. Shoulder save made by McGuire. And then a couple of Irondale players down behind the play. Slow to get up was number 24, Griffin DeCou. He's going to manage to make his way over to the Knights bench with a little bit of anguish on his face. Tepidly hops over the boards. Now behind the net with it, surveying the ice is Ryan Remore. Remore takes a look. His outlet pass right through the stick of Wiley Rutherford from Tartan. Then it's fanned on. That creates a turnover, but we're going to hold up. What was that? Was that offside?
Offside, yeah. Just a little bit early into the offensive zone.
I guess. Boy, there was a chance for Wiley Rutherford. That was right at the blue line. There was going to be a turnover. Rutherford on the season leads the Titans with 11 goals. Off the face-off, that one is hammered in by Deschenaux. Around it goes. Waiting for it there was Moylan. Couldn't handle it. Puck is glued to the boards. After it was Rutherford. Comes out to center. Now circling with it is Deschenaux. I'm not sure I've got that name right. I know how to pronounce it in French. Boy, what a big check thrown along the near side. Bennis absolutely crushing Forrest. Now Rutherford flings one in the middle. Nobody home, but it comes all the way out to the right point. Ramackle will send that one around. Getting to it is Parent. Parent in the far corner. He's held up by Deschenaux. With it there, that's Forrest. Swung around. Henry tries to get that one out. It's held in by Shire. That hit traffic out front. It just lies there. Swooping in on his Tartan. Here's a shot from the point. That one hits traffic. Nice block by Nico Cisneros. Cisneros after it. Good time here in the attacking zone for the Titans. Finally, they kick free, and it's popped out to center. Up with it. Carrying it in there with Shire. Down low on the back door. Good look for Benny McClellan. McClellan, leading point getter for the Titans. 10 goals, 12 assists. It's a replay of that one now. That puck comes all the way back, meanders into the Tartan zone. After it there was Forrest. Forrest looking for an outlet. He's got a man circling, couldn't catch him. He also had Remore there. That one floats back into the Irondale zone. Long pass on the far side, tapped in by Cisneros, and then he's going to peel off and head to the bench in favor of a change. Cisneros has got some awesome hockey here, by the way, Patrick. It's very important. Pavel will bring this in. This will be delayed offside. Titans need to tag up. They're still onside. Now it's legit. That one is flipped along the right side, but that one is gobbled up on the forecheck by Charlie Campbell. Comes all the way back to Harton. Harton swings it around on the near side. That one comes in. That one is steered aside by Lockwood. Long pass. Fails to connect with Bodine, and that results in an icing call. And we'll have a face-off back in the night zone with 13:14 to go.
Pretty impressive swings in the pendulum so far. Tartan had some pretty good chances in the offensive zone. Nearly had that great chance out front for McClellan streaking in between the hash marks. But these outlet passes have clicked a little early for the Knights as well on the breakouts.
Christie will take the draw against Remackle. It's won by Tartan. That one is flung towards the net. It was blocked. Swing and a miss there by Remackle, and now out with it. Here comes Irondale. Irondale will dump that one in. He's held up. Getting to it first is Bennis for Tartan. That one is whipped. Remackle with a one-touch. In transition, here comes Parent. Parent tried to get around the D. That was played. Bennis sets it down. That shot deflected wide. Bennis comes up with it. Sent it down low. Remackle is after it. He was sealed off from the puck by Christie. Christie wanted a puck call. That one trickles in, and Lockwood is going to smother that one and take a face-off to his left.
Kind of feels like the Knights are playing on their heels defensively a little bit early after that opening shift where they had a couple of good looks at the net. Now the Titans have controlled the offensive zone for the last couple of minutes, and another offensive zone draw.
Markford lost that draw to Remore. Puck was on the base of the cage. Now it's chipped out to center ice. That was off the stick of Forrest. Loose puck will be claimed in his own defensive zone by Tesser. Circles, gets it to Shire. Shire connects with Markford. Now with it out to center. That was Tesser. Good puck movement. Here's a chance now, Markford. That shot is wide. Tartan with the better play here in the early going. More time in the attacking zone. Long pass. That was off of the stick of Markford. Comes right back to Deschneaux. Deschneaux with it. He dishes that off on the right. A chance there. The bouncing puck. Deschneaux is out front. It's loose. McGuire can't find it. It's still loose. Good three-way passing play. Now we get somebody dumped after the whistle. Calvin Irondale was in the middle of that rush as well.
As I like to say, it's section hockey, and people are looking to get their little licks in here early on to let them know they're not going to be intimidated.
Absolutely. Here's that rush. Deschneaux, they sent it over. Irondale was right there. Irondale with 18 goals and 24 assists. That one never got on net. Mad scramble there. Now, Tartan's center is going to be tossed out. Tyler James will be replaced. Stepping in now instead will be Charlie Campbell. Campbell against Irondale. Off the draw, it's played up ahead. Here's a possible odd man rush for the Titans. They swing it over. Here's Pavel. Pavel gets it back. It was just out of the reach of Tyler James. James started that play in his own zone by winning the faceoff. On the near side, up with it is Campbell. Just noticed on the jerseys, Patrick, the N for North St. Paul, the N in red. That's my alma mater. My brother Dave played on this rink for a couple of years for the Polars. A goaltender, very poorly, just like my skating. There are no North St. Paul players on this Tartan team. It's all comprised of Tartan. It's the Tartan North Co-op, just as it is the Irondale St. Anthony Knights. Now with a good rush here with Remore. On the back door, Forrest couldn't locate that one. They jam away at the line. That one is whipped down low by Remore. Picking it up for Tartan. Didn't catch the number. That's number 26, Easton Rosenthal. Bennis with it. He had it stolen. Now they'll flip that one to Remore. Remore feathers that one down low. Instead, that one was picked up by Bennis. Bennis, number 44, is huge for Tartan. Tall guy there. Campbell battles for it. Titans were sort of penned into their own zone, and then they'll ice this one to ease the pressure. And we'll get a face-off back in the Titan zone with 10:32 to go here in the first period.
Well, there have been so many passes out front so far, just out of reach now for both teams. We saw it a couple of times at the Tartan offensive end. Now here we had a chance for Irondale. And eventually some of those passes are going to start to click.
That's right. I talked about it. Irondale comes in 14-10-1, all together on the season. 2-3-1 in the Tri-Metro Conference. They just don't play a lot of conference games. There's a shot that was ripped wide by Grant Harden. Around it goes, picking it up for Tartan. There was McClellan. Sent it down low. Irondale looking for it. They'll feed it out to Harden. Sent it to the outside. That was off the stick of Christie. That one is lobbed around the other side. Now with it is Irondale. Tried to feed it to Christie in the slot. Bouncing puck will be held in the zone. Now it ricochets over to Tartan, and that outlet pass off the stick of McClellan. He'll chase it down. Puts on the break, sends it out front. Yet Shire couldn't connect with him. McClellan around the cage, got that one over to Ramaco. That shot was deflected. Here come the Knights. Pushed forward through center ice. That was Harton. Back the other way, Shire has it. Ripping in off the left wing, toe drag. Shire cuts in front, shoots, he scores! What a goal! Devin Shire, his 6th goal of the season on a dazzling, electrifying individual effort. Titans strike first.
That was an absolutely spectacular play by Shire. And I was going to comment at the next whistle that it looked in the early going, the Tartans just had a little bit more pep in their step compared to Irondale in the early going. And you saw it there, not even on the goal, but even the sequence before that when it was cleared back out into the neutral zone, that the Titans were able to regroup, just sort of have Shire rush his way past.
Absolutely. Shire with his 6th of the season. All by himself now. Big check thrown at center ice. Irondale on their heels a bit. That one rolls in, and McGuire will clamp down on that one, and that'll force a face-off inside the Tartan zone.
Well, this game starting out like their regular season meeting. The Titans have the early lead. We're saying they've had the better of the play so far, as we'll take a look at the goal replay of the Shire goal.
Cuts across the face of the goaltender Lockwood. So patient, wait, and then just slided past him.
Absolutely.
Back to live action here. Another Tartan center iceman will be tossed. Rutherford will take over. When I called that goal, I think my voice went up about 14 octaves. I sounded like I was 12 years old, by the way. I don't see many plays like that very often, to be
Happens
honest.
to the best of us.
Now with it, here's Mark Ford. Mark Ford takes a look. Couldn't get the shot off. He was held on the outside by Ramor. Scooping up that loose puck is Irondale. Irondale pressured by Rutherford. Rutherford forces the turnover. Can they capitalize on this? Rutherford still battles. Bennis steps in from his point position. Didn't get anything on that one. And then it's played out to center. That one bounces and it comes right over. With it is James. James shields the puck away, and then a beautiful poke check by Harton. Harton tries to clear, can't do so, and then that one is just hammered the length of the ice. And that'll be an icing call. We'll get a face-off back in the Irondale zone with 8:35 remaining here in the first period. Titans lead at 1-0.
I continue to see the Titans be able to just have that extra step on the night so far, that they only have an offensive zone face-off, and see what they can do with it.
This will be James digging in against Christie. James wins it. Campbell tried to play it out to the point. Instead, that goes right to Irondale. Irondale runs into Shire. Bumped off the puck. Pavel comes up with it. Pavel sends it around for Campbell. He kind of one-touched that one over to James. It's held in the zone, however, and an easy glove save made there by McGuire. He saw that one all the way.
So we'll kind of have to see how things play out, but of course, if we start to get to a point that we keep seeing Titans skating past the Irondale defenders, we're probably going to start to see them kind of having to play back a little more. There's a shot right on the face-off and the save.
Yeah.
But we could see how that plays out. You can't keep your defensemen quite as low as maybe you want on the offensive side.
Christie against James again in the face-off circle. Christie plays it to the corner. Now up with it. Irondale. Didn't catch the number of that player. I believe it might have been Irondale. Kept alive by Deschenaux. With it now is Tesser for the Titans. Can't clear. Now it's swept out through center. Slides back into the night zone. Titans switch up their forwards now. Here with it is Ramor. Ramor had a step. Sends a backhander in. McGuire makes the save. I got to tell you, we talked about it. Nate McGuire is going to be everything in this game. He stopped 49 of 52 shots in their first meeting. He might have to be perfect tonight.
I think that was actually a more dangerous shot than maybe it looked like it was going to be when he was coming in through the circle. But he did a good job to put that one as a legitimate scoring chance.
Sure does. You know, those backhanders are just kind of strange. Goalies are always saying they're kind of wonky. He was able to lasso that puck real quick. That's where, if you've got a winger streaking to the net, you get that juicy rebound. Off of the face-off, over in the far side of Cisneros. Now, here comes McClellan. McClellan catches Parent. Parent shot whistles wide. That one is going to come all the way out to center, and it's going to be played by Luttrell. Luttrell over to Jorgensen. Jorgensen secures the red line, and he'll rip that one around. On the far side, McClellan taps that. Jorgensen at the point. Glove save made by Lockwood out front. You had McClellan along with Ramackle sniffing around for a loose puck. 7:21 to go here, first period. Just the one goal. Unassisted tally by Devin Shire at 7:22, his 6th of the season. Knights are coached by Jerry Hayes, by the way. He's in his ninth season. Titans, Cole Leach, also in his 9th season. There's a shot off the faceoff, and it's a rip, and it's Rutherford making it 2-0 Titans. That's the beauty of a faceoff win, Patrick.
Oh, that absolutely perfect positioning. It was like an unplanned one-timer right there, and Rutherford was there to just clean it up.
Rutherford with his team-leading 12th goal of the season, a sizzler off the faceoff. Look at that. Beautiful win on the faceoff. I believe it was Carter Parent that won that draw. So for the Titans, 2 goals in 2 minutes and 19 seconds has given them a 2-0 lead.
So we go back to the first meeting. This is exactly how it played out in that regular season meeting at the Tartan Arena. Tartan took a 2-0 lead. Now we'll see, though, how are the Knights going to respond.
Well, I think I called that wrong. I think it was number 7, Ramackle. Did I get that wrong, Patrick? Oh, my goodness.
It was just wider than I believe it might have been Ramackle. You're right.
58-year-old eyes deceiving me. Rutherford was out there, but it's Ramackle, folks. We'll get that corrected. Now here's a chance. Irondale spotting the Titans a 2-0 lead, just like they did back on January 15th. Now they pressure. They send it out to the point for Deschneaux. He'll circle. A shot comes in, and a glove save made by McGuire. It was announced as a goal for Ramackle. So Ramackle with the tally. That will be his 4th goal of the season. I'll check the official scoring to see if Rutherford got an assist on that one.
We're starting to see Irondale dirty things up in the offensive zone a bit, get some traffic in front of the goaltender, try to get him moving a different way, kind of get some of your skaters free for opportunities.
Now here come the Titans again, out of their own zone, with it there. That's Campbell. That one goes through the goal mouth. Somebody lost their stick. Everyone wants a penalty here on the Tartan side. Pavel gets to that puck, takes a look just outside of the reach of Campbell, and that'll allow Ramore to get that one. Here come the Knights. The shot, save is made by McGuire. He tried to pounce on that one, couldn't handle it. Pavel slides it up ahead. Here's Shire. Shire undressed the defense, couldn't complete it, then gives a beautiful reverse hit there to Nolan Henry. Comes out to the right point. Ramackle. Toe drag, but was stripped. There's going to be a penalty. First power play of the game is going to go to the Knights, and that one's going to be called on Benny McClellan, and he hates the call. But he held up the Knights player, and Irondale with a chance to cut this deficit in half.
Yeah, as the kids would say, you could see the Knights going to the bench saying, let's go, let's go.
Knights on the season, on the power play. 22 for 103. Here's a look at that penalty. Easy call right in front of the referee. 21.4 percentage on the power play. Oddly enough, the Knights have allowed 6 shorthanded goals this season. Tartan has killed off 83.8%, 83 for 99. 99 penalties on the season is a ton, by the way. Now here are the Knights. They swing that one over to Harton. Up top for Ramore to the outside. Ramore calls for it and gets it. Takes a look, snaps one in. Blocker save made by McGuire. Pops free to Harton. Harton is pressured on the near boards. They jam away with it. Now with it, here is Irondale. Sends it to the far corner for Forrest. Back to Irondale behind the net. Out front, Kiefer McGrath battles along, trying to establish position against Markford. There's a rip. That one just flew off the heel of the stick there of Forrest. On the near side, on the weak side, Harton had a look. Might be seeing that one in his sleep tonight. That was a wide open net. Now Harton gets it again. Rim of the left circle, down low. That one bounces off the heel of Forrest's stick, and then Tartan clears it, and you're going to have 4 dog-tired penalty killers scramble over to the bench. 1 minute remaining here in the 5-on-4. Now with speed out of his own zone. Look out. Here comes Irondale. Irondale carries it in the zone, avoids the referee, slides that one to the far corner for Harton. Harton back to Irondale. Irondale watched closely there by Rosenthal. They send it out to the point. Here's Harton. Circling with it, dancing along the line. That's Ramore. They'll send that one over. That shot by Irondale, and McGuire never saw that one. There was a fantastic screen out front. McGrath locks up with Bennis on the end boards. Forrest tries to dig it free. Now they chisel that one out of there. With it is Irondale. 18 to go in the power play. Up top with it, Ramore. They swing it over. There's another one-timer, and Harton missed that one. Harton missed on 2 opportunities. Here's a chance for the Titans to clear, and they do. Out to center ice with speed. Here comes Moylan. Moylan tries to get her on the D, and he stood up on a nice play. The penalty time has expired. A successful kill for Tartan. Titans really playing well tonight.
Yeah, that was a really good defensive play coming off at the end there by Ramore. I want to say that was a really great power play overall by Irondale, even though they were not able to cash in on it, but it really felt like they pretty much had chances that entire 2 minutes.
Absolutely. So Tartan withstands the first challenge. They still lead at 2-zip. Shire at 7:22, Remarkable at 9:41, in spite of me wanting to give that goal to Wiley Rutherford. Now here's Shire with it. Tries to thread the needle. That one bounces off the stick of James. He'll go in after it. He gets inside position on Deschneaux. Deschneaux, they jam up along the boards. Now it's pried loose. Ramore has it. Gallops out of his own zone, secures the red line, tries to backhand that one in. Now after it is Christie. Christie around the outside, calling for it was Forrest. 5-on-5 hockey here. That one is flung wide. It comes all the way out to Bodine. Check that. That was Deschneaux. Pavel tried to get that up ahead to Campbell. Now turning in tight space. Here come the Knights. Out to center with it. Through center is Forrest. Forrest drops it back to the point. Deschneaux. That one is steered up and out of play. Calm save made by McGuire.
It was a rafter save, one of those pucks that goes up into the beams.
This
has happened a few times where it doesn't make contact with anything and just comes back down and they keep playing.
My favorite, Patrick, is when one puck goes up and 2 come down. So I can't speak objectively about Aldridge because, again, being an East Sider, going to North St. Paul, having my graduation commencement at this rink, it's everything to people on the east side of St. Paul. And it's a venerable old building. Here's Irondale. The referee wanted to redo that one. He let him play. That's a roller. That's going to be icing, and we'll get another face-off back in the Titan zone.
Well, I guess he'll get his wish to redo it.
He didn't like the way that puck was dropped. Another face-off to the right of junior Nate McGuire. Shots on goal. 9-6 in favor of the Knights. Irondale locked up against Remarkable. Irondale wins it. They swing that one over to Ramore. He eases that one to the outside. First time I've called Bodie Inselman's name. Inselman manages to extricate that one out of the pack. He'll send that one out to the point. That was Harton. That one was gobbled up. Now with it, Remarkable gets that one to Perrant. Perrant weaves his way into the zone, chips that one around. Remarkable will get to that one. Gives a reverse hit to Harton, but forgets to get the puck. That allows Irondale to come up with it. Irondale had his stick chopped right out of his hands. That's an easy slashing call. And the Knights will go on the power play for the second time. There's 2 minutes exactly remaining in the first period.
Yeah, so we'll see how this power play fares out for Irondale after they were really good on the first one. They were not able to cash in, but had a number of chances. I want to go back to one prior thing. You see Tartan, they had a chance maybe for a home run pass through center, and they opted for a little bit more of a conservative, play it through, trying to avoid perhaps a mistake at neutral ice.
McClellan picks up his second minor penalty of the game. Bennis rips that one around. That one is going to be held in by Harton. Harton Down low, there's a shot, the one-timer, just didn't get anything on it. Irondale is setting up their wingers for these great one-timers. They got to capitalize. They're looking to get one to Harton. Harton on the weak side in the circle waiting for it. That shot off the stick of Calvin Irondale, a mask save by McGuire, and the Titans clear it.
Yeah, as you were saying, there's been some really good puck movement by the Knights on these 2 power plays.
Look at Irondale, gallops out to center. Harassed there by Rutherford, lost the puck in the process, but it's held in the zone. Now it's sent out to center. Circling with it, here is Ramor. Ramor jets into the offensive zone. He'll chip that one around. First to get it is Shire. Held in momentarily at the line. Now a shorthanded rush. Campbell's got it. Oh, it got away from Campbell. He had a man out front, too. Campbell had Pavel. Campbell now thinks about raking some time, and he'll do so. Comes all the way back. McGuire is going to leave this one on a tee for Tesser. Tesser gets it, sends it out to center. And the Knights will have to regroup with 49 to go. The same amount of time on the game clock as there is on the penalty. Tesser gets that one. Irondale fans wanted another penalty. That one goes wide. Lockwood will leave that one nicely. Just 34 to go here. Scooping it up is Inselman. Starts to crank it up. He'll carry it into the Titan zone. He had a poke check by Shire. Shire with a nice play. Down to 20 seconds remaining in the period. That one pops free and it's gloved at center ice by Mason Irondale. He's a sophomore, his brother Calvin. Here's a loose puck with it. Shot just over the cage was Ramackle. Shire with it, sends it to the middle. Final seconds of this one. Buzzer sounds, ending the first period of play. And Patrick, we got a little upset in the making here. Titans lead it after one period, 2-0.
There's a lot to unpack from that first period because Tartan had the better of the play, but I don't really feel like they dominated in that same regard either, especially when they went shorthanded. And there were some really good chances for the Knights. So yes, it is definitely 2-0 in favor of Tartan, and they did have the better of the play, but I certainly don't think they dominated either in that traditional thought that you would consider somebody dominated.
Absolutely. 2 goals, the scoring summary of that first period at 7:22, Tartan's Devon Shire with an electrifying individual effort, scored his 6th goal of the season unassisted. And then just 2 minutes and 19 seconds later, number 7, Quinton Remarkle, hammered one in off of a face-off win from Benny McClellan to make it 2-0. That was Remarkle's 4th goal of the season. McClellan's 13th assist of the season. Shots on goal in that first period. Irondale with 10. Tartan with 6. Tartan made good. That's a save percentage of 66.6%. But there's Nate McGuire, 100%, stopping all 10. Got the Zamboni on the ice. Going to give us a good scrape, clean things up. We'll be back to start the second period in about 12 minutes. Glad to have you with us this evening on SCCT.TV. After one period of play here from Aldrich Arena in St. Paul, Tartan leads Irondale 2-0.
Listen up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong, so I won't sugarcoat it. I need each one of you on your A game. The good news is, Anthony, the human body we've been tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with brand new gear to defend against the flu. That's right, we've upgraded our game with this new equipment. They give you a little extra boost. So let's go fight for Anthony, for his mom, his co-workers, that nice lady Patricia that lives down the street with the cute dog. In the face of viral adversity, we make Anthony thrive so he can protect himself and the people he loves most. Are you with me? Yeah!
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Along with analyst Patrick Lilia, this is Bernie Kelcher. Happy to have you with us on SCC TV. After one period of play here at Aldrich Arena in St. Paul, the Tartan Titans upsetting the Irondale St. Anthony Knights by a score of 2-0. We'll go over some of the highlights from that first period. That was the big hit right in front of us. Very physical game to start, Patrick.
It definitely was, as they say. It's section hockey, baby.
It is. Here was that good chance early on, and McGuire was scrambling for that one. Now here's Shire. Beautiful toe drag, crosses the face of Lockwood, waits, scores his 6th goal this season, and then just 2 minutes and 19 seconds after that goal, a quick face-off win, and there is Quinton Remarkle gunning one in, giving the Titans the 2-zip lead. Familiar territory for Tartan, seeing as how they had that first period. You see the shots on goal favoring the Knights 10-6.
I think the big thing for the Knights is going to be they've had trouble countering the speed of Tartan so far. We've seen it a few times, just Tartan attackers blasting right by their defenders. And I think so far that's kind of what they've had to game plan for a little bit, is that they so far have struggled with the speed of the Titans, maybe more than they thought they were going to in the early going.
Remarkle missed another opportunity later in the period where he just buzzed the tower on one. The next goal is the goal of this game. Tartan gets that next one and makes it 3-0. You know, the Knights just might pucker up a little bit on that one. That's a big hole to come back from.
I mean, because the other thing is, because they had the regular season game that we've talked about a number of times, is had a similar start, but in a sectional game, your strategy is probably going to be different than a game in, the early part of January like it was when they met before.
Absolutely. Zamboni is off the ice. Teams will be back on the ice momentarily. We'll be back in just a bit after these words. Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you with us this evening on SCC TV. Second period ready to begin. Tartan leads Irondale 2-zip. Tartan now moving from right to left, and Irondale attacking from left to right. We are underway. 5-on-5 hockey. Clean, fast ice surface here. Now with it for Tartan, that was Perrant. It's actually Parent, but I'm going to give homage to the famous Philadelphia Flyers Hall of Fame goalie, Bernie Perrant. Here's Parent with it at his own blue line. Sends one up ahead to McClellan. McClellan goes to the outside, gets around Remore. McClellan with it. McClellan cuts across. It's loose. There's a chance. A huge save made by Lockwood on the doorstep. I believe it was Parent that got a piece of that one. Now with it, here come the Knights. This is Inselman. Snaps one in off the base of the cage, picking it up is Forrest. Forrest duels in the far corner with James. Forrest comes out with it. Had it, gets it again, and then that one is roofed. Hits off the glass. Good zone time here for the Knights. Not quite desperation mode, there's still plenty of time. That pass intercepted, but it's held in the zone. With it there, that's Irondale. Got that one, that shot changed direction right in front of McGuire. Comes out to the point, that shot wide, hard bounce off the boards. It's a shooting gallery right now for the Knights, but none of the shots are getting on goal. McClellan along the near side, it's chipped cross corner by Harton, and then he'll peel off and head to the bench. This gives Tartan a chance for a clean break to get it. Pavel and Campbell, 2-on-1. Campbell has it. Campbell takes a look, tries to feed one out front, and that one was sticked into the netting by Lockwood. That 2-on-1 kind of fizzled.
Boy, if you like just action with stuff being thrown at the net, not too much neutral zone play. This has been the game for you. These two teams, it's pretty much been in one end or the other. There has not been a lot of stuff going on in the neutral zone.
Absolutely. James will take the face-off for Tartan against Christie to the right of Lockwood. Junior goaltender. Irondale with it. Out with it. Here is Bodine. Bodine will nudge that one ahead. Couldn't get that one in deep, and that allows Bennis, but he can't clear. Bennis gets the second time, and he does so. Both of these teams, by the way, Patrick, dropping down from 2A. There's a tripping call. Tartan is going to go on the power play. Here comes McGuire all the way over to his bench. Extra attacker is out 6-on-5 until Irondale touches the puck. Pavel with it. Harassed. Pavel gets that one up ahead to Bennis. Faceoff is going to be in the attacking zone regardless. Bennis with a toe drag, and now they'll blow the whistle, and this will give the Titans their first opportunity on the power play.
That's going to be a big one. As you said, going toward the first intermission, we think the next goal is going to be the biggest goal of the game.
Absolutely.
2-0 advantage for Tartan here early in the second period.
Deschno, that's what it is. Deschno with the penalty. Face-off now in the night zone. Face-off win. McClellan with it up top. Takes a look. That shot deflects high in the air. Lands behind the cage with it there. That was Ramacko. Out to McClellan. Fumbled it once, fumbled it twice. Now he'll recover it, but the Titans will have to reset. On the season, Tartan looking for their stats, 18 of 78 on the power play. That's good for 20.5%. Knights just 77% on the PK. They've allowed 14 goals on 61 shorthanded situations. They do have 3 shorthanded goals scored. Now with it, here's Markford. Markford sends it up the middle, and he just gave it right to one of the Knights players. That was a hand pass, and we'll get this face-off inside the Titan zone.
And a good start to the power play for Tartan. I mean, with that shorthanded opportunity the other way for the Knights, and it looks like they are going to have to face off in the Tartan zone off the hand pass.
This one will be to the left of McGuire. Christie steps in against Rutherford. Rutherford wins the draw. They'll swing it around for Pavel. Pavel settles it down, lost the handle on it. That allows the Knights to disrupt that rush. Salt away a little bit more time on the PK. Now one-touch pass gets it to Shire. Shire into the zone. Shire walks in. Shire with a shot turned aside by Lockwood. Shire fantastic on those rushes. Shire up top. Player down low, blew a tire for Tartan. That was Mansfield. Now that shot comes in. That one is wide, and it's going to come all the way through neutral. There's a chance, shorthanded. With it here is Irondale. Shields the puck away. A pair of 20s going in after it. Now picking up the loose puck will be Jorgensen. Meanwhile, Shire gets tangled up with Mason Irondale behind the play. Markford goes wide. He'll look to get this set up. Sends it around. Waiting for it at the near side is Parent. See, I called him a French name one time, and now I'm going to want to do that. McClellan with it, with 15 seconds to go in the power play. One last rush. Here's McClellan. Kept to the outside. Got hacked around the roulette wheel. He'll dump that off to Markford. Standing in the penalty box is Deschno. His penalty time is over. It's a successful kill. The puck stays in the zone. Big shot, big pad save. Now down low, they tried to feed one on the weak side. Tartan had both Ramackle along with Parent there. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. D-to-D passing. Now it's out to center. Down to 12:30 in this second period. McClellan had it, lost it. It was stripped. Irondale turns it back the other way. Dishes it and missed the connection, but he'll go in. It was basically chip and chase. That one bounces off of McGuire, comes all the way to the point. That shot wide. Lively bounce off the boards. On the weak side was Inselman. Couldn't locate that one. This one will be held in at the left point by Ramor. That one is chipped hard off the wall by Ramackle. Tartan will definitely take an icy call on that one.
Well, that was a tough break for the Knights. Inselman just needed to tap it in. He had a wide open net and just couldn't quite get the stick on it.
I think there have been a couple of chances tonight. Inselman with that one, and then in the first period, Grant Harton had a couple of backdoor looks. I alluded to it before the penalty. Both of these teams played in Class 2A last year. They've dropped down. This is the first year for both of these teams in Class A. Irondale lost to Osseo last year in the 5 AA quarterfinals. They've been to state 3 times. They were the consolation champions in '80, and they were the runner-up to Bloomington Jefferson. Hold that thought. Big shot. Behind the back pass. Here's Tesser with it. He'll feed it to the point. Shire one touches it to James. Loose puck. Nice save by Lockwood from the seat of his pants. Good pressure here by Tartan. Campbell with it. He'll take the shot. That one bounced off of the skate of Deschneaux and almost was an own goal. Shire waited just momentarily. Now he'll have to reset as the puck comes out to neutral. Feeds it over to Tesser. Tesser just eases one in. That one is flicked away by Lockwood and it goes right to Deschneaux. Bouncing puck will come out to center ice. Big check thrown there right in front of us. Now Campbell swings that one over. Tartan trying to get it up ahead to James. James gets it. James sends it in the middle, but that one couldn't connect with Pavel, and now it's the Knights' turn to ice that one. Not much in the way of shots on goal in the second period. Tartan with 3, Irondale with 2.
And to your point about the Class 3 assignments, Irondale, having moved down, having one of their better seasons in recent memory with 15 wins during the regular season. Tartan's an improved team. You see that a few times. See some teams kind of drop down. Cloquet, another one who's kind of had some better years now that they're at the Class A level as well.
Absolutely. Irondale finished runner-up to Bloomington Jefferson in '81. Tartan has made it to the state tournament twice, 04 and 05. Did not win a game in either of those appearances. Now with it, here's Rutherford, that's offside. Nobody liked that call. Tartan bench up in arms.
Yeah,
Fans on the near side didn't like it either.
That's just one of those unfortunate things that, the officials right on it, and I could see from here there was a little bit of white between the skate and the blue line, and technically that's an offside and tough break.
McGuire, the goaltender, is coming over to the Titans bench, having some kind of an equipment issue with his mask. Now we're going to see if he's going to stay in the game or if he's going to be subbed out. They're taking a good look down there. You've got a great view of it there. Not sure if one of those bars broke off. He's having a long conversation. That's Nate McGuire with the referee. Obviously, he's going to want to stay in the game, Patrick. He's 12 of 12 on the evening that stops.
No doubt, and as you were saying, he's kind of the linchpin to the Titans' upset chances tonight, and so far, of course, things going according to plan.
Absolutely. You see the backup goaltender there. They're going to give him some extended time here. This will be Tartan right now. They have yet to beat Irondale in their previous matchups. You have to go all the way back to December of 2021 when they defeated the Knights 4-1 in the regular season. They've played them each of the last 3 seasons with Irondale having their way with them, 6-4, 5-2, 5-1. And then back, of course, on January 15th. We'll get a look at that history there. That 3-2 win back in January, it was a tough one for Irondale. They outshot the Titans so severely, but I like the way things are going right now for the Titans.
As now the goaltender McGuire has a helmet back on. Well, good news for the Titans. Now he picks it off again. Well, not sure if the equipment issue, as you said, it might have been something that was damaged, or I don't know if it's a backup helmet he was just trying on that wasn't quite the fit that he wanted.
Yeah. Look at the head of hair on the backup goalie, Casper. That's the kind of flow you normally see on forwards and defense. Not in a goaltender, that's for sure. Long delay here. So it's been kind of a strange season for the Knights. They started out 5-1, Then they lost 3 straight. Then they ripped off 5 of their next 7 games with wins. Then they lose 5 in a row before their current 3-game winning streak. Tartan, though, is peaking right now. The Titans, coming into today, had won 3 of their last 4 games and 4 of their last 6, but they had just a horrible January. 7 consecutive losses. They finally won on January 31st to snap that losing streak. This is a long delay.
In case you were wondering, Casper did not have any varsity action during the regular season. So he'd be coming into a big situation cold for his first varsity action.
Huge. So 3 games thus far in the Section 4A, 3 shutouts. Chalk so far. Number 1, number 4, number 2 seeds. This has the potential for the upset. Obviously, in the upper bracket, you've got Montemita and Hastings. The winner of this one will take on the number 2 seed, Chisago Lakes, next Tuesday. We're back to live action here.
McGuire did stay in the net, by the way.
Thank you for confirming that. Very important. You said it. Linchpin is the word, Patrick. This will be an icing call. So we lost all the flow in the game there because of that delay. There's 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the second period. 2 even strength goals in the first by Tartan. Shire his 6th, Ramackle his 4th. This face-off will be to the right of McGuire. Ramackle dueling against Forrest. Check that. It's going to be Calvin Irondale. Irondale wins the draw, gets it back. Now they try to work that to the point. With it there is Hart. Down low for Forrest. He tried a blind backhand centering pass, and that one is gobbled up. Ramackle leads the rush. Slides that one over. With it there, that was Parent. Shot came in to McClellan. There's a nifty one-touch by Parent and a great save made. That's such a huge save by Lockwood. Really, at this point, Irondale, they have no margin for error.
Absolutely, and we've seen Tartan come out here in the second period, and they've continued to push. They know they're kind of playing with house money right now. Let's just go out there and see what we can do and see if we can really put ourselves in a position to possibly steal this game.
Yeah, that was a beautiful feed and a nice save. Henry Lockwood, .898 save percentage coming into this game. McClellan will take the draw now against Irondale to the right of Lockwood. Referee admonishes the wingers on the far side. It's a clean win. Here's a set play, but the outlet pass never materialized. That one just sort of dribbled off the stick of Ryan Ramore. They had the winger streaking, waiting for the home run pass, but it never materialized. Now with it, through center, here's Inselman. Sends one in, and that one is steered. I have to tell you, our colleague John Conley talks about that exact play where the goaltender deflects that one into the netting, steers it up. I'm not saying you can change that, but it's one of those plays in hockey that we sort of get tired of. I don't know what else the goalie is supposed to do, Patrick. James against Christie. James frees his stick. He's bumped along the near wall. It's held in momentarily. Now Campbell got it out to center. That one is chucked out of play and almost hits my son in the head down there. The assistant athletic director for Tartan. He's got the student section control. He didn't look up here. Head on a swivel down there, Jake. All right, Christie against James again. James wins it. Tesser, D-to-D passing. That was one touch, but Pavel didn't get anything on that one. Now with it, stepping into the rush, here comes Devin Shire. Shire flings one high off the glass. Campbell can't keep it in. Tesser had it. Now meanders all to the other side. That was played on the wrong side of the red line. That was in an icing call and a face-off back in the night zone.
Well, you're from a goaltending family. What would you do on a play like that?
Well, that's the thing. You have to do that. It's just, it gets into a philosophical debate about hockey. It's along the same lines as, why is a team that's shorthanded allowed to ice the puck without any punishment at all? I don't think there's a solution. This is, when somebody lobs an easy shot like that, you do exactly that. it's just not a very glamorous play. Now a loose puck. Here's a chance with a step. It's Logan Forrest. Forrest shoots. He scores!
And you just felt like that had been sitting out there all night, that somebody was going to cash in on one of those eventually. And the Knights really needed to be that team to find that, and it came right to them.
That was bar down. Logan Forrest, his team-leading 20th goal of the season. He cuts the Knights' deficit in half, making it 2-1. Time of that goal, 8-11 into the second period. Should be Forrest unassisted. Oh. We're going to give an assist to Inselman. Forrest is 20th. Inselman with his 8 assists of the season, and that was a biggie. I was stunned by Forrest able to turn on the Jets and really get in the clear behind the Titans defense.
We've talked all night about Tartan's speed and the trouble it's posed for the Knights, but in that case it was Forrest accelerating to get away for a really clean break.
Nifty shot. That next goal, we talked about it. It was huge. That one is gloved by Bennis, set it down. Dosey Dode with one of the Knights players and then brought it in offside. Both teams with opportunities tonight thus far in the power play. Irondale 0 for 2, Titans 0 for 1. This faceoff will take place in the neutral zone in the dot on the far side. Christie against Ramackle. They joust for it off the draw. Jamming away there was Parent, but up with it instead. Here come the Knights. This is Mason Irondale. Sends it around. Christie was there. He was hammered in the corner. A reverse hit thrown there by Ramackle. Ramackle tries to slide it to McClellan. McClellan up the near boards, but it's held in. Christie flings one, and that one was off the stick of McClellan. McClellan now puts on the Jets. McClellan, it's just out of his reach, and then a nice job by Lockwood to just flick that out of harm's way. Puck pops free. Tesser sends that one in. Settling down the twirling puck and choosing to rush it is Grant Harton. Harton gets past Tesser. Harton walks in, feeds one down low. That one was off of the skate, I believe, of Mason Irondale. End-to-end rushes here for both teams. Lockwood will get that one. He lost the handle on it. McClellan tried to feed it out front. Parent was in the vicinity. Now players strewn all over the ice. Here Shire walks in. Pad save made by Lockwood. Sloppy hockey, resulting in some scoring chances. Now in the corner. That was Parent. Parent, McClellan hits his man. Shire is going to claim that one in the far corner. Takes a look, sends it over to McClellan. McClellan kept in check there by Christie. That allows Harton to come up with it, but he can't clear. Good zone time here for Tartan. Now finally it comes out to center. Jorgensen circles, gives it to Shire. Shire checks into the zone. Shire walks in. Shire lost the handle on it just as he was getting ready to pull that same move that he did in the first period. Lockwood was wise to that. He was going with him the whole way, and then the Knights will hammer that one down the ice for an icing call and a face-off in their zone with 6:19 to go.
I've been really impressed with Devin Shire tonight. I think he's been Tartan's best player on the ice so far tonight. It seems like every time he gets the puck on his stick, it's been chaos for the Knights, and he's doing a lot of damage.
I did not realize he was on their blue line. He's a defenseman. He's had some nifty rushes tonight. Started the scoring in this game. Now with it here is, I believe that was Ramor, it was. Out through neutral. With it, that one is going to roll off the end wall. Bennis comes up with it, plays it around the far side. Pavel cleared it. Now it goes right to one of the Knights players. Bennis, there's a turnover, walking in. That was Inselman. He was taken down. There's going to be a penalty. And boy, things could have been a lot worse for the Titans on that one.
Absolutely. It was a great chance coming in the other way for Inselman, and they're going to go on the power play here at the chance to tie the game. I was going to go back To a little bit of an earlier point you were making about Shire being a defenseman, that's something I've seen in more games that I've called this season. You kind of have players who don't have a set forward or defense position. They kind of just operate where they think is best for them to.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been very active offensively tonight. Face-off inside the Tartan zone, shot right on, steered aside by McGuire. Quick shot off the face-off. I've already seen one of those goals tonight. Shire tries to clear it. He does. Here's a 2-on-1 shorthanded. McClellan, he's got Remackle with him. McClellan feathers one to Remackle. It rolls right in, and the save is made by Lockwood. And then he quickly reels that one in. Tartan has had 5 shorthanded goals this year, and they came within an eyelash of notching their 6th.
Yeah, that was a really impressive play on both, and that was great by Lockwood. He made himself really large right in front there. But as they got it for Remackle, he was able to just kind of bounce the puck over the sliding defender. That's a tough play to make,
yes,
especially and still generate a scoring chance.
Yeah, just a beautiful dish there by McClellan. To get the scoring chance was a good accomplishment. Now with it, bursting out of his own zone, Harton sends it in. He'll go in after it. He'll bump there with Tesser. Plenty of time still in this 5-on-4, 1:27, 5:15 in the second period. They'll send one down low, a one-timer, and McGuire stones Logan Forrest. Forrest, as I said, the leading goal scorer, notched his 20th earlier in this period. Here's a great look at this one.
Yeah, that was impressive. I thought McGuire was playing further off the post than he ended up being as he slid in to close it off. That was a good effort.
Did you notice just the very subtle stare down that McGuire had on Forrest? He didn't do anything disrespectful, but he just kind of gave him a look like, I had this one. I got this one. Now off the face-off, Jorgensen after it. In the far corner, it's McGrath. Up with it instead is Irondale. Irondale plays catch along the end line with Forrest. Forrest takes a look. He'll dump that one up top to Remore. Remore's shot. The save is made. Big rebound. The race is on. Can it be held in? It is. Nice hustle. Now a jailbreak for Tartan. Scrambling. They sent one over on the weak side. McGrath couldn't locate that one. Still 49 to go. Crucial power play here. Up top, Remore. Backhands that one down low to Forrest, back to Remore, to the outside again. He'll take the shot. That one was blocked on a nice play by Luttrell. It comes right back to Remore. He'll take the shot, turned aside by McGuire. 30 seconds to go on the 5-on-4. This is a dog-tired Titans penalty-killing squad. There's a shot they were looking. That might have been a slap pass. That one had just too much pepper on it. Here's Remore again, down to 16 seconds in the 5-on-4. Up top. They swing that one over to Forrest. It was offline. Again, Remore quarterbacking it. Takes the shot. The save is made. The rebound pops free. That one is swiped at by Forrest. Around the cage. They send one in. What a save by McGuire. It's still loose. He's on his pants. It's loose. Penalty time is over. Here's a potential break. Rutherford has it. Puts on the brakes. What a wild scramble that was, Patrick.
That was absolutely wild.
Wonderful action. Now down low. Here's Tesser. He's denied. There's a delayed penalty coming up. End-to-end action. Teams trading chances. What about section hockey do we love? Everything.
Absolutely everything. As my thought was as the power play was running down for the Knights, that was a chance that even if it goes back to 5-on-5, they still have a chance to establish some offensive momentum post power play. I call that, when I call games, kind of a power play plus. You're no longer on the power play, but you still generate yourself some good chances. And then Tartan is able to swing it back the other way. I thought, as you commented, those guys have been out there a long time. They were still able to get some juice and draw a penalty in the process.
The saves that McGuire made were fantastic, a mad scramble, but the blocker save that Lockwood made was huge. So the penalty was assessed to Grant Harton. Hold on a second. We've got another player going over. Did they assign it to the wrong person? They did. So into the penalty box steps Calvin Irondale instead of Grant Harton. It was an elbowing call. 3:30 remaining here in the second period. Titans' second power play opportunity. They're 0 for 1 in this game. the Titans student section was going absolutely bonkers as Nate McGuire was standing on his head again. He hasn't had to turn away nearly as many shots as the game in January.
I was thinking about that penalty. Was it the officials just mixed up the 6 and the 9, or was it the one play like, no, it was me. Like, no, it wasn't you.
No, it was not you. Face-off win for the Titans. McClellan slides that one over. It was offline. Big check thrown there by the Irondale player. Puck stays in the zone, though. Here's Markford up top. Irondale player broke his stick on the check. It's number 20, Mason Irondale. He doesn't have a stick. For all intents and purposes, this is a 5-on-3. Bennis out front was creating all kinds of havoc in front of Lockwood. This gives the Knights an opportunity to get a penalty killer out there with a stick. Parent leaves it to McClellan. McClellan charges out to center. Gets past Deschneaux into the corner, avoids the ref, feeds that one. Now Ramackle with a shot. That was wide. Markford sends it back. McClellan down low. Things get settled down. And then fanning on that one. Here's another opportunity. Being held up is Irondale. Irondale has a step. Irondale walks in, and the save is made by McGuire. I can't believe they didn't call a penalty on that. Yeah, just that one little bobble at the blue line started that shorthanded rush.
I saw that myself a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty much everything you would do to draw a penalty except draw the
I'm holding.
penalty.
I'm hooking. I'm holding. Amazingly, he got the shot off, and amazingly, there was no penalty.
Yeah, with Irondale, he had his stick broken earlier in the sequence. It was kind of amusing because he just came over and his teammate was like, here you go, here's mine. And
that's it. 1:04 to go in the Titans power play. 2:34 to go here in the second period. Tartan leads at 2-1. 2 in the first. That shot off the face-off. A butterfly comes in from Deschneaux. McGuire will take that one every single day. We'll do it again to his right. On the face-off, it'll be Forrest taking the draw against Rutherford. Deschneaux in the shooting hole. That one will roll in and it's swept aside. Shire has it. He was pressured behind the cage there by Inselman. Now out with it is Jorgensen. Jorgensen carries it in. He's watched closely by Hart. Along the near boards, they battle for it. Forrest comes up with it. Forrest tried to go inside of Shire. Couldn't pull it off. Back the other way. Here's Pavel. That one's offside. We'll have a face-off in the neutral zone with 39 seconds to go. Still remaining on the penalty time to Calvin Irondale.
Kind of wonder who's on the power play right now, the way this is played out for the last 45 seconds of power play time.
Absolutely. On the season, Irondale with an impressive 6 shorthanded goals. 3 of those shorthanded goals have been scored by number 9, Calvin Irondale. Irondale not on the ice now. He's in the penalty box. Your main shorthanded threat. That one is sent out front, and it's tossed all the way back down. The wobbling puck. McGuire will steer that one and leave it for Jorgensen. One last rush here for Tartan. 18 seconds to go in their power play. 1:44 in the second period. Parent takes the feed from Jorgensen, connects with Bennis. Bennis will carry it in. 7 seconds to go. Bennis with a toe drag. It got away from him. Rutherford sweeps that one to Parent. Penalty time on Irondale is over. He's going to join the fray. Irondale gallops into the defensive zone of the Knights looking for the puck. And it's amazing how good players always find it. Now here come the Knights. Irondale, a 3-on-1 possibly developing. Irondale sends it over. A shot. Oh! Missing on the near side was Logan Forrest, and then we have a penalty on Tartan as a player got absolutely buckled in the far corner. It's going to be Shire. He's going to head off to the penalty box, and the Knights are going to go on the power play. And more importantly for Irondale right now is the health of Calvin Irondale. He's very slow to get up. Look at this rush. Here's Irondale with a perfect dish, and then Forrest just wasn't able to finish that one. Irondale in some distress. He's making his way over to the Knights bench. So the Knights go on the power play. 4th opportunity. 0 for 3. Tartan putting themselves in high pressure situations here. was a roughing call. 1:06 to go. There's a potential carryover. There's a one-timer and a beautiful blocker save by McGuire through a sea of bodies in front of him. Up top, Christie has it. He'll take the shot. That hits traffic, goes to the far corner. After it is Inselman. Up top, Christie takes a look, sends it to the outside for Deschneaux. He'll circle with it, sends one towards the cage. There was a huge screen out front. This is an interesting power play here, Patrick. Much bigger bodies out front. That was Nico Cisneros. Now with it, here is Irondale. That's Mason Irondale. Ramackle sends that one the length of the ice. Of course, no icing. 27 seconds remaining in this period. McClellan harassing Deschneaux. Now with it, here's Christie. One last rush here before the end of the period. Knights fans losing their patience. Now with it, with speed. Here comes Forrest. Galloping in. Forrest walks in, and then at the last second, that wasn't Forrest. That was Irondale. Was deflected away. Up top, there's a shot that hit traffic. There's Forrest. Final seconds, madness, pandemonium. And for all of that craziness, Patrick, there were very few shots on goal in that second period.
Yeah, that was a very different period than we had in the first. I think the Knights adjusted very well. We didn't see those skaters just beating the Knights in one-on-one rushes like we saw a lot in that first period. We've seen a lot. It seems like they're playing a lot for home runs on both sides, which we'll see how that plays in the third period. It did work out with the Forrest goal, that shorthanded tally that he had, but kind of a tough way to try to win a game when you're trying to generate breakaways pretty much for your entire offense.
Absolutely. Just the one goal in that second period. It came at the 8:11 mark. It was Logan Forrest with his team-leading 20th, assisted by Bodie Inselman, his 8th, and that was the only tally. Shots on goal in that second period. Irondale had 12 for a two-period total of 22. Tartan had 8 for a two-period total of 14. We're going to catch our breath here. When we come back to start this third period, the Knights are going to have 51 seconds still remaining on their power play. After 2 periods of play here from Aldrich Arena in St. Paul, it's Tartan 2, Irondale 1.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. It was time for me to change my life and the lives of my family, so I went back and I got my high school diploma. That was the catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's, a master's, and I became a teacher.
Mom, this is your very first yearbook.
Your commitment to education motivates me, your coworkers, and your students.
You showed me that if you come from nothing, you can still be anything.
You told me I deserve to succeed. It's been 15 years, and I still live by that.
You're the model for success for your kids, grandkids, and your students.
When I look at all these success stories, I cannot help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Welcome back, everyone. That's the handsomest kid in the world right there. That's offspring of me. That's my son, Jake, the assistant athletic director of Tartan High School. Glad to have you with us, everybody. Bernie Kelcher with Patrick Lilia. 2 periods of play here in the books from Aldrich Arena. Tartan on the precipice of a 6-3 upset. They've got 17 minutes to close it out. That's a long time, Patrick.
No, that is a really long time, and that was a very different second period than we had in the first. We saw in the first period a lot of Tartan attackers just speeding right past the Irondale defenders and generating scoring opportunities. And we did see a little bit of that, but I think especially as that second period went on, we didn't really see as much of that. As We'll see here one of the good scoring opportunities for the Titans early in the second period. But
yeah, Lockwood came up so big on a couple of plays.
And that's going to be kind of the big thing for us here in the third. It's, we talked about the big goal being the one when it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Well, now it's going to be 2-1 in the third.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to be an even bigger one. Of course, there's a shorthand goal for Forrest.
Yeah.
And the chances started to get a lot better for the Knights as that second period went along. I think Tartan's just kind of wearing down a little bit. I think they're going to have to sort of reshuffle their deck a bit to just make sure they're not getting beaten trying to protect a one-goal lead.
Absolutely. The interesting stat here is, in spite of being outshot 22-14, the Titans have had just as many scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about a lot tonight that speed, as we mentioned Devon Shire a number of times tonight, has really opened up a lot of chances with his speed, his cuts in front of the net. I think he's been the best player on the ice tonight so far for the Tartan Titans.
Absolutely. Get a good look at that. Good crowd here tonight. Again, Aldrich Arena, the cathedral of Minnesota hockey. Zamboni is leaving the ice. It's my favorite part of the game. That means we're very close to puck drop. We'll be back just in a few moments, folks. Glad to have you with us on SCC TV.
Self-love made me a better dad because I realized my worth. A rap away, you gotta pray for yourself, as well as for everybody else, but never forget yourself. The word father means a lot to me. When I give my love to my children as a father, I can see it. That's the benefit of being a father is seeing those smiling faces.
Welcome back, everybody. After 2 periods of play here from Aldrich Arena in St. Paul, the Tartan Titans lead the Irondale Knights by a score of 2-1. Bernie Kelcher with Patrick Lilly on SCC TV. Patrick, 17 minutes are going to determine Tartan's fortunes.
Yeah, as we were talking about, the Knights really improved as that second period went along. They left 51 seconds of power play time to begin the third. And I think that's going to be a huge 51 seconds just because I think the Knights were going so far in sort of turning this game. I don't want to say taking it over because they're still down, but they've come a long way from where they were in the first period. We talked about that was kind of a strange first period. Tartan had the 2-0 lead. I didn't think they were really dominant, but they were obviously the better team during that first 20 minutes, and then, or 17 minutes, I should say, and then you get into the second period. And Tartan came out, they were really pressing for that third goal. I think they had a feeling that they needed to get that third goal. They couldn't quite get it. Then the Knights come back, they cash in with the shorthanded goal that gets it to 2-1. And then kind of saw the Knights start to shift the pressure more into the Tartan zone as that second period went along.
Absolutely. So the third period has been absolutely polar opposites for these two teams. On the season, Irondale outscoring their opponents in the third period 29-26. It's nice, but the Titans, Tartan, has been outscored in the third period of their games this year 34-13. I have to believe that that's going to weigh heavy on the mind of Coach Leach as he approaches this third period.
Yeah, because we talked about that regular season meeting and how that script and this script had largely been the same in a number of aspects, but I threw in the point that because it's a section game, it's not just a random regular season game in January, that you are going to have to play it differently than you were. Now, at what point do you think about shortening the bench a bit if you're Irondale and you don't find yourself unable to get this game tied up over the course of the next, 8 or 9 minutes to start this third period?
Absolutely. Undeniably, this would be the biggest win of the season for Tartan. They stand 17 minutes away from it. They are going to have to contend with 51 seconds of penalty time. It's a 5-on-4 for Irondale. Both teams again, first year in Class A. Three of the top 4 seeds have already advanced to the semifinals in the 4A section. Irondale hoping to make it 4 for 4. We are underway here in the third period. Far side, that's Campbell. Had it, lost it. Now here come the Knights. That one will be pitchforked into the zone by Ramore. McGuire leaves that one. That one is hammered all the way around, but keeping that one alive on the left point is Harton. Around that one goes to Forrest in the far corner. He's watched by Jorgensen. Forrest sends that one to Ramore. To the outside for Forrest. They're looking to free up Harton for a one-timer instead. That shot deflects off of Pavel. Nice block, getting sticks and bodies in the shooting lanes. With it, Irondale. Up top, Ramore. Swings it over to Irondale. Irondale goes to work on Campbell. Irondale with the shot. He had a man out front. Player for Irondale has lost his stick. That's Kiefer McGrath. He can't get his stick, and that allows Tartan to clear the zone, and they almost got Bennis freed as he left the penalty box.
So the face-off will come back in because of the icing, and this is where we go back to the power play plus concept that I brought up in the last period, that if you're Irondale, you have a chance, even though it's 5-on-5 again, to keep some of that power play offensive momentum going.
Absolutely. Irondale with a clean win to Deschenaux. A set play, they tried to get it down low to Ramore, but he just couldn't handle that one. Ramore lost the puck. Now with it is Ramackle. Ramackle swings that over to Parent. Parent tried to get around a loose puck. McClellan with a shot, and a save is made by Lockwood just out of nowhere. The play developed.
Well, he was holding on for dear life to not give up a rebound right out in front, and it was a great job by Lockwood to stay with it.
Boy, those shots in the high slot area, you're right, Patrick. You've got a winger that's just cruising along. Puck hops over to them, and it's in the back of the net before you know it. Now McClellan will take this draw against Christie. Christie slides that one back. Irondale looks to break out. They get it to center. With it, here is Bodine. Bodine rings that one around. McClellan is going to pick that one up. Lost it. Ramore with a shot and a goal. It's a tie game. Ryan Ramore with a snipe. Just 129, and we're knotted at 2.
Ramore is one of those guys we talked about that he doesn't really have a set forward or defense. He kind of roves and plays where they think it's best for him to affect the game. And Ramore with the game-tying goal. It starts with a turnover in the offensive zone. Rather, it was actually a good play, I think. Maybe it wasn't a turnover, but able to free that puck up on the far boards because it looked like about to get control of it on that far side was McClellan. It was just poked away from him to set up the blast.
Remore, I've been calling him the wrong name all night. So Christie and Irondale, Mason with assists on that one. 129 in the third period, we're knotted at 2.
Yeah, the Knights come right back in here on the offensive sequence once again. As this game, we talked about the script from the first one. I didn't watch the tape from that game, but really here the Knights, they got down early. Now they look like they're really controlling the direction of the game right now.
Shot just wide. These boards here at Aldrich are so lively. That one is tossed in. For Remore, that's his 17th goal of the season. And we're tied at 2. Carbon copy here of that meeting back in January. Now scooping up the loose puck is Irondale. Irondale walks in, gives that one to Forrest, and a beautiful blocker save is made. That puck was played with a high stick. Face-off is going to stay.
Or are they going to get a penalty for a high stick? I think as you said, it's going to be played with a high stick.
I did not see it, but I saw the referee. Here's another look. Here is Irondale. Defensive breakdown there by Tartan, and then the blocker save that McGuire made keeping that one out of the net.
Yeah, but then the puck was played with a high stick in the near corner by number 44, Bennis. So that keeps the face-off in the Tartan zone.
Clean face-off win. That shot intentionally played cross corner. Tartan with it now in the corner. This is Deku. I'll tell you what, I watched the body language of Nate McGuire after that goal. Here's Pavel, hold that thought. Pavel, can he break in the clear? He can't. Nice play there, back check by Remar. Nate McGuire wants that shot back. He did not like that goal. Put his head down, now he's got to somehow gather himself. We're back to an even score. 13:44 to go here. The momentum clearly on the side of Irondale. With it, here's Irondale. Dueled with Campbell, no call there. Campbell in the near corner. Banks that one up ahead. Pavel touches that one to Campbell. He'll one-touch that one to James, and he'll send that to the far corner. Titans will get some fresh bodies on the floor. This allows Irondale a mostly clean exit. That pass fails to click with Irondale. That'll be icing, and we'll get a face-off in the Irondale zone.
This is where if you're Tartan, you can kind of reset things a bit with the face-off coming in the offensive zone. You do have that fresh line out on the ice. They had just gotten out there prior to the icing.
This one will be to the right of Henry Lockwood. Ramackle against Christie. They've been frequent duelers in the face-off circle. That one off the end boards. McClellan with it, sent it out front. He had Ramackle, couldn't quite connect there. Tesser sends that one in. Ramackle on his horse to get to it. Good forecheck. McClellan sends one out front. Parent was roughed up there by Cisneros, but Ramackle gets that one to the point. Tesser likes what he sees. That shot comes in. The save was made by Lockwood. Christie swoops in on the loose puck, connects at center ice with it. Here is Irondale, Mason Irondale. Tries to go to work, get around Shire. Shire cross-checks him a couple times, then comes up with a puck. His pass had too much smoke on that one, was out of the reach of Parent, and we'll get another icing call and another face-off in the Tartan zone.
That was a really good save by Lockwood a moment ago. There were about 3 bodies right on top of him at the edge of the crease, and somehow he was able to find it as the puck got through all of that to him.
Lockwood, after allowing the goals, 2 goals in the first 9:41, he's been perfect since. Here is Markford against Irondale on the faceoff. That one was chipped by Deschanel over the cage. Now here's Deschanel with it. Both teams trading possession of the puck at center ice. With it there, that was Moylan. Markford tried to get that one up ahead to Rutherford. It's loose to Remar. Remar gave that one to Irondale. Irondale tried to split the D, couldn't do so. Moylan bangs that one out to center. Deschanel circles with it at his own blue line. Bouncing puck, look out. Here's a chance, walking in. That shot never made its way on net. Forrest with a chance. And that one was a shoulder save, I think, made by McGuire.
And see Forrest kind of hunching over after that, like, dang. And
yes.
And that was all set up because the Tartan player with the puck in the left circle slipped and then allowed Forrest to grab possession of it right out of the left circle.
Yeah, beautiful shoulder save. Face off to the right of McGuire. 11:56 remaining here in the third period. Tied at 2. Barn burner here from Aldrich Arena. Section 4A quarterfinal. Previous game, Chisago Lakes Wildcats had no trouble dispatching of the Simley Spartans to advance to the semifinals. Another icing call on Tartan.
As you were kind of hinting at, a very different looking Section 4A this cycle, with a lot of teams moving up, moving down, being rehomed into different sections. Of course, one thing that's still the same, Matamidi, the #1 seed.
Matamidi, on the last few seasons, the Zephyrs have won the last 4 Section 4A titles, 7 of the last 8, Patrick, and 9 of the last 11.
Unbelievable run.
It really has been. Now Irondale will swipe that one across the ice, picking it up there. That was Remore. He'll hammer it in. It's cut off by McGuire. Nice play. Here's Luttrell. Luttrell tries to clear it. It's scooped at the right point by Remore. Then he'll feather that one down to the end boards. Here's Jorgensen. He'll swing it around. Parent takes a look. One touches that to the middle. Now with speed. Here's Ramaco. Ramaco curls into the high slot, looking for McClellan. He got dumped. The stick was taken. The Irondale player lost the stick on that one. No call. Titans fans hot about that no call.
Yeah, there's that one guy at every arena who you can just pick out.
Yes.
Who's very upset about.
Absolutely. Played out to center, then thrown back in, delayed offside. That's going to give Calvin Irondale, a chance to get a rest. Here's a ghastly turnover out front. Knights couldn't capitalize on that. Now tape-to-tape passing up ahead. McClellan, he had it, he lost it, he gets it back. He just couldn't do anything with it. He got behind the Knights defense, but the puck was out of his reach, and he just couldn't do anything.
Boy, that's got to be frustrating. Nolan McIntyre had the great chance, and then at the other end, it was the opportunity for McClellan.
Pavel with it, gives it to Shire. Shire with a shoulder shake on Cisneros, gets it to the outside, gets it back. Shire walks in, gave that one to Pavel, a shot that just went wide. Now Campbell tries to throw a check, but he missed. Here comes Harton. Harton backhands it to the far corner. He'll chase in after it, along with Rosenthal. Also lending support there was Tyler James. James is going to get that one out of the zone, sends it over. That one will be flicked into the zone by Pavel, and then he'll hop over the boards. We're down to 9:31 to go here. Here comes Deschenaux. Connects on the far side with Decoux. Decoux will send that one around. It's icing. You got to take that one stride.
Now, and this is the kind of part of the game where it's a tie game with, roughly half the period gone, give or take. Let's take a look at that.
Here's McClellan.
But I was going to say, this is kind of where you have to keep yourself grounded in what's going on. You can't start thinking about the bigger things. You can't start worrying about, the season's going to be over. You have to worry about what's going on right in front of you.
Here's Forrest. He'll carry that one in. Gave that one to Inselman. Forrest gets it back. Around it goes. McClellan is going to try and backhand that one out. That one didn't have enough juice on it. That allows Remore to keep it in. Now with it, here's Inselman. Ducks underneath the check of Rosenthal. Nudges it ahead. But the first person, then a terrible giveaway. Titans committing some terrible plays in their own zone. They almost paid for it. Nice save was made there by McGuire. In the far corner, Forrest had it. The groans that were elicited from the Titans fans after that clearing attempt was pretty loud.
Yeah,
Here's Rosenthal.
That's kind of what I was saying a moment ago, that you can't let the game get too big right now. And I think, I don't like to talk about high school like this, but I feel kind of like Tartan is starting to let the game be a little too big right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a big game. Now with it, Rosenthal swept it to the corner, put a body there on Irondale. Titans scrambling in their zone. They may need to ice it here. Moylan took a look at it. He left it for Bennis. Bennis can't clear, but that one comes all the way right here in front of us. Look out. Everyone ducking.
We're in front of our great camera crew here at SEC Sports. Little souvenir sent their way.
That's it. Down to 8:09. 2 in the first for Tartan. 1 in the second for Irondale. 1 in the third. That was Remore at 1:29. This face-off to the right of McGuire. Off the draw. Moylan checked that. Yeah, Moylan couldn't clear that. Now here's Luttrell. McGuire takes a look at that puck next to him. Wanted to go out there, couldn't do it. This will be another icing call on Tartan. We'll do it again back in the Titan zone.
And of course, these offensive zone draws are going to start to add up a little bit. I know there's no penalty for you can't change your line at this level, but it just keeps the momentum in Irondale's favor to keep having the offensive zone chances like this over and over.
Yes, indeed. Shots on goal in this third period, 4-2 in favor of Irondale. That shot wide, 26-16 for the game. A far cry from when these teams met a month ago when it was a 52-18 Irondale shots on goal advantage. Here's Bodine, avoids a stick check, tries the toe drag. That elicits oohs and ahs from the Irondale fans. Now after it is Luttrell. Luttrell tries to get that up ahead to Moylan, can't do so. Now Moylan. The Titans right now have been really forced to just icing the puck. Third consecutive icing.
That was kind of a tough break. As you could see there, it was Rutherford going really hard to try to beat that icing, but just couldn't quite get there.
Yes, indeed. See if the Titans can jumpstart their offense here. They're having a tough time breaking out of their own zone right now. This will be James, a pair of 9s in the faceoff circle. James against Irondale. Irondale wins the draw but couldn't control it. That one is played to the middle of the ice and it's not out. With it, here's Irondale. He'll send it to Forrest. Forrest walks in, takes a shot. I think that was off the knob of the stick of McGuire. Deflected up and out of play.
And I kind of think we're starting to see where we had commented in the second period. The Tartan kind of looks like they're wearing down a little bit, just having a hard time just getting the puck out of the zone.
Absolutely.
Irondale keeps the offensive zone pressure going.
You know, Patrick, the score is 2-2 here, but I get the feeling that Tartan's sort of on the ropes here.
No, I absolutely agree with that, too.
Now that one deflected off a couple people, pinballs right to one of the Tartan players, and another icing. Take a look down at the Tartan bench and see what Coach Leach has to say, other than don't ice it, boys. Remarkably calm. Team had a 2-0 lead. Knights have come back, chipping away, getting one in the second and one early here in the third to give us the 2-2 score with 6:59 to go. Off the draw, Campbell with it. Tries to skate it out, does so. Secures the red line, gives it to Pavel, and he'll just ease that one in. I get this distinct feeling now that Tartan is just sort of going into a shell and they don't want to make any mistakes. They need to put the foot on the gas as much as humanly possible. Inselman blew a tire. That allows Shire to come up with the puck. Shire had space and then lost it. Now he frees some more space up. He'll connect with Pavel. Pavel tried to get it up ahead to Campbell. Campbell takes a look in the far corner. He's got Harton draped all over him. Now James frees it. James walks out of the corner, takes the shot. The save is made by Lockwood, and then he'll fling that one over, and that one is skied through center. Bouncing puck will go wide, and we get another icing call. A lot of icing calls, a lot of jittery play here, I think, Patrick.
And that's what we were talking about earlier in the period. You have a lot of guys. It's a 2-2 game. Of course, the time now is just starting to become a little bit more of a factor with 6:06 left. That, you know, they're kind of simultaneously thinking they don't want to be the guy who makes the mistake to end the season, but some of them are also thinking, I want to be the guy who sends the season on to Chisago Lakes.
Absolutely. Bennis whips one in. That hit bodies out front. There was a chance for Parent. Now on the far side, that one is chucked the length of the ice, and we're going to have another face-off inside the Irondale zone. 5:55 to go. Glad to have you with us this evening on SCC TV. Patrick Lilia with the astute commentary. Your favorite hockey announcer, Bernie Kelcher, with the mediocre play-by-play.
I was kind of thinking the roles might be, or the adjectives might be a little flipped, but good to be with you, Bernie.
Absolutely. On the far corner, Deschanel sends that one up to Cisneros. Cisneros, he gains the red line and just feathers that one in deep. Now they'll go to work on Tartan to see if there's a turnover. Deschanel skips past him. Here's Parent. Possible odd man rush, and the puck just would not behave well for Tartan. That one fizzled. McClellan got it up to Parent. Parent will just one-touch that one into the Irondale zone. Deschanel hard around the near boards for Irondale. That one was stolen by Markford. Now Tartan will keep that one in and try and grind this one. Here's McClellan, takes a look, sent it to Perrant, but it was behind him, and it comes all the way back into the Titan zone.
Now we're starting to see the Titans be a little bit better in the offensive zone than they had been for a lot of this period.
Absolutely.
I think the big thing was to stop making turnovers in your own zone.
That's so true. Markford had it stripped. Back the other way. Here comes Irondale. Irondale with speed. Tries to get around. Clears Jorgensen. A bouncing puck. Almost went in. That would have been a wonky goal there. Now here with it. Remore leaves that one for Irondale. Irondale dishes that one over to Deschneaux. Deschneaux with a shot. That one comes all the way out through center. Here's Forrest. Connects with Irondale. Irondale hits Remore with speed. Beautiful entry. Remore had his stick lifted by Shire, and then Shire got high stick, no call. Shire's in a little bit of pain here. He's either got to get off the ice or he's got to rejoin play. He'll rejoin play. Back the other way. Here comes Tyler James. He'll send one in, and Lockwood puts the big glove down on that one.
That's a tough break for Tartan, not getting that call. And then Shire getting poked in the face, but not something that's going to keep him off the ice long in a tie game with 4:07 left.
There's Shire. Took a stick that was from Remore to the back of his helmet. Had to shake the cobwebs on that one and then gather himself and rejoin play. Face-off in the night zone. Here's Remore. Got it up ahead to Bodine. Bodine's pass failed to click. Now here's a chance for the Titans to gain the zone. They dump that one instead, and the Knights bench will have a face-off at the dot. Right? Oh, we're going to have it at center ice. Down to 3:55. Patrick, do we know the overtime rules? Do we go 8 minutes?
So what will happen is there will be no resurface, and they'll have 8 minutes. If they don't have a winner, then they'll go to a 17-minute period. If it goes past that, then they'll resurface.
Got it. Shot from Campbell. Lockwood kind of made an awkward save there. He wasn't quite sure. He gave a peek behind him. And this faceoff will take place to his right. James against Christie. Every draw becomes so crucial late in the game. Face-off win for the Titans. Shot off the point. Statue of Liberty glove save made there by Lockwood. Easy save off the rip from Tesser. We'll do it again.
Now Tartan has that opportunity. We talked about the Knights who just had those repeated face-offs in the offensive zone. Now the Titans trying to establish some late chances.
Out of the pile. Here come the Knights. Harton banked that one up ahead. Loose puck. It comes right back to Harton. He'll send that one down in the corner for Mason Irondale. Irondale tried to send it out front. It comes all the way out to the right point. Remore with a nice toe drag, then had his shot disrupted. They tried to center it out front. They were looking for Mason Irondale. Instead, picking it up is Shire. And this one will be played out to the line. It's offside.
And if you've never been in this situation before, it's tough not to be nervous. It's tough not to keep yourself grounded and look at the bigger picture of things. And, it's just kind of how it is when you're, young players, regardless of, whether you're a sophomore or a freshman or a senior. So it's going to be, I think, a lot on the coaches to help keep the players' heads cool in a tough situation.
Absolutely. I had a conversation with the Simley coach, Coach Ben Horsch, in the stands before the game, and he mentioned that exactly. Section hockey does strange things to the kids. Can you imagine getting in front of 18, 20,000 people at the X? That's a shot that was just blocked. That one is held in. Here's a chance now for the Knights. A shot from a shallow angle, and that one is gobbled up by McGuire. Forrest with a good look at the rim of the right circle.
Now, and this is, of course, meant to be a general comment, not aimed at any specific player, but, and you kind of have, the thoughts of, being the guy who's going to be the hero in the game, and you don't want to have that thought so much.
Exactly.
Make sure that, the team comes first.
Exactly. It's held in. Deschneaux sends that one. With it is Bennis. Bennis takes a look. That one is deflected into the stands. That was within an eyelash of being intercepted. Bennis paused for just a split second, and a good read by one of the Knights players. He had ideas on that one.
Offensive zone face-off once again for the Knights. And we're kind of running right down to almost a exact replay of that first game.
Yes.
That they had.
Absolutely. In that game, the game winner was scored with just 1:49 remaining by Calvin Irondale. There's a shot. Deschneaux crept down from his point position and got loose. It's played back into the Titan zone. Here's Parent. He'll leave that for Bennis. Bennis swings that one around. That one hopped on the defenseman. That was Rosenthal. Rosenthal was pressured. Coughed it up. Here's Forrest. Blind pass to the back post. Failed to connect. Parent beaten to the puck there. Now it comes right back to Parent. He'll look to break out. Sends it over. It's gloved. Set down by Remackle, but he held it for too long and will get a face-off. Closed his glove on that one. Closed his fist.
Yeah, he was just kind of stumbling his way across the red line and trying to keep the puck in his possession.
Let's see where this face-off. It should take place inside of the Titan zone. The referees are going to discuss this one.
Everybody's kind of milling around down in that Titan zone.
This will be a very important decision here. They're going to say it's going to come outside of the zone. It'll be at the dot on the far side. Down to 1:47 to go. James against Christie. Center iceman Do-si-do. They get locked up. It's nudged out to center. Remore had it and lost it. Got that one over to Bodine. Bodine shoved into the wall by Pavel. Pavel knocked around by Christie. Here is Shire. Lost it. Now here come the Titans. That one is kicked out through center. Right back in with it. Here's Christie. Christie spins. Gets collapsed upon. Had to bring it outside of the zone, and now the Knights will have to reset it. With it here, that's Irondale. That one skips in. Boy, those little skippers right in front of the goalies. Now here's a feed out front. They missed a golden opportunity. Mason Irondale on the feed from Christie. Last minute of play here in the third period. Huge pressure here for the Knights. Now it's kicked out to center. Campbell runs right into Remore. That one will be fired back in. That's icing. Wow.
I was going to say, this building is dead quiet right now.
Yeah, everyone is sort of collectively holding their breath. Not many scoring chances, not many shots on goal in this third period. Here's the last one. That bouncing puck, the goalie, you want to control that one. But here's the weak side play coming up right here. Bam. Face-off win for the Knights. Around it goes. Forrest catches up to it, chips it out to center ice. Circling with it. That's Hart. Connected with Irondale. 36 to go. Irondale splits the D, lost the handle on it, and then McGuire gets a snow wash there.
That's where you got to be careful. You can't take a penalty right now because somebody got under your skin.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be very disciplined here. I get it. Players were going in, storming the cage. McGuire took a heaping of snow there, but got to maintain discipline.
They're not going to take anybody. Maybe if this was the regular season, they go, yeah, okay, go sit for two. But
yeah,
maybe recognizing in this situation, we'll let them get away with it this time.
Inselman was the instigator on that. Remackle. Oh, the faceoff is going to come outside of the zone, by the way. Remackle against Irondale. That one is gloved and set down. This will be a hand pass if anyone touches it. That allows Tartan to get the puck. Right in front of us, Luttrell. Out with it is Forrest. Forrest goes to work on the defense, tried to snipe on the short side, missed. Puck comes all the way back out. That shot turned aside. Good rip there from Remore. In the far corner, 8 seconds to go. Remackle, he'll try to clear it. It's held in. Big collision there with McClellan. 1 second to go. Shot comes in. The save is made. The buzzer sounds, and we're going to overtime. Bedlam here at Aldrich Arena. And Nate McGuire flopping and doing everything he can. We'll take just a 2 or a 3 minute break right here. We'll start the OT session on dirty ice. There's a look.
Let's take a look at that last opportunity they had, as you said, Bernie. So we'll have a 3-minute timeout before the overtime, and then we'll play in one 8-minute session. I believe if they don't end it in that 8 minutes, they'll play another 17 before they resurface. I could be misspeaking on that.
I had a game, a Section 3 girls game that went to OT. So what it is it's 8 minutes on the current ice, the dirty ice, and if nobody wins it in the 8 minutes, then it's a full cut, and then they put 17 minutes on fresh ice.
So then it's 17 and 8, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Shots on goal in that third period, Irondale had 12 for a 3-period total of 34. Tartan had 6 for a 3-period total of 20. All right. Gonna gather ourselves. Here's highlights from the game overall. Here's Shire with a beautiful goal. Started the scoring. I'll let Patrick take it from here with his astute analysis.
I saw the face-off win and getting it buried there. So that put the Titans on top 2-0, but then the comeback started for Irondale on the shorthanded goal there by Forrest.
That was a beautiful shot.
It was, and it felt like that was where this game really turned.
Absolutely. Beautiful check there. I remember that one. Actually, the player, Irondale, broke his stick on that one. There's the goal. And McGuire, you could see his reaction to that shot when it went in. It was one that he thought he should have saved. But he's been brilliant, turning aside 32 of 34 shots tonight. Looking at the overtime records for both of these teams on the season, Irondale has yet to win or lose in overtime. They come in with a record of 14-10-1, so they've played just one overtime game. Tartan, 2-0 in overtime this season. I don't know what that means, but it's noteworthy. Glad to have everyone with us tonight.
As we go into the overtime period, we see a lot of quick overtimes. It seems a lot of them either end in the first couple of minutes or you kind of hang out for a while.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of where we'll go back to what we talked about throughout the third period, that you don't want the game to be bigger than you. And this is where the coaching staff has to make sure that everybody sort of keeps their perspective. Don't let your eyes turn into dinner plates or anything quite like that as we head into the overtime, because everybody on the ice is about to just snap like a twig. And everybody is going to talk about it tomorrow when I guess it's Friday, so they wouldn't have to hear about it from their classmates until Monday.
That's right. Yeah, this is the time when you win a game like this, you're going to be a hero on Monday in school. Teams have switched ends. Fans rise. AC/DC blares. Tartan will now attack from right to left across your monitor, and Irondale from left to right. 5-on-5 hockey, 8 minutes on the scoreboard. Sudden victory/death. We are underway. Nobody wants to make a mistake. Here's McClellan. He'll chip and chase. Got held up there in a nice shoulder check by Remore. Along the near side with it there, that was Parent. Had it, lost it. Irondale looks to get out to center. They do. That one was one touch by Forrest. D-to-D passing for the Titans. At center ice, Irondale will toss that one in. On the far side, Forrest is going to get to it first. He's avalanched by one of the Tartan players, but the shot comes out to the point. That one is turned aside. Calm save made by McGuire. That one is hammered also from the point. That one changes directions and goes wide. A chance from Inselman. That one sticked aside as well. Out of the gate here in the OT session, Irondale with a full court press here on Tartan. Bennis gets that one up ahead. It was gobbled up on the far side by Remore. Long stretch pass up ahead. McClellan thought he might have hit that with a high stick.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, play continues on. Interesting until somebody touches it. There we go. At center, here's Campbell. Campbell swoops on a loose puck. Tried to kick it free, now back the other way. Here comes Irondale. Irondale couldn't break free. Crowd goes crazy with each rush. Campbell locates the loose puck, tries to get around Forrest. Campbell with it, takes the shot. A rebound was right on the doorstep. And Tyler James just couldn't find the handle. Back the other way, it's a potential 2-on-1. Irondale sauces one out front. The shot just goes wide. End-to-end chances here. That was Forrest. Had the game on his stick, just couldn't finish. Tesser sends one in. He'll go in after it. It will not be icing. With it here is Harton. Fevered pitch here at Aldrich Arena. Back the other way, Irondale with it. Tried to get it up ahead to Inselman. Inselman tries to clear the defense, send it out front. They bang away, they jam away once, twice. Save is made. Nate McGuire with a fantastic save, game-saving save. Here's a loose puck, McClellan! He shoots and he missed it wide. Comes back to Perrant, a shot. That one is blocked out front. That one is skied through center. That one is sent in by Irondale. Jorgensen peels it off the boards, then turned it over. Gets it back, nudges that one to Parent. I've called him Parent and Perrant the whole night. Irondale player was on the way to hop over the bench and the puck was right behind him. He played it in. 5 minutes to go here in the overtime session. That one is just floated all the way down the ice for an icing call. That'll allow both teams to grab a breath and a face-off in the Tartan zone.
And that's what's hard, because you commented a couple minutes ago about every time the puck is carried into the offensive zone, one of these student sections they erupt, because they're on the edge of their seats. And if you're a player, you just have to figure out how to block that out. You can't let that get to you.
Absolutely. Benny McClellan with the best chance in OT. Now here's Campbell. Campbell sends that one in, a bouncing puck. Out with it, a shot, where is it? It's underneath Lockwood, and then the referee blew the whistle. He lost sight of it. Tartan fans hot about that. Out front for Tartan, the game on his stick, Tyler Pavel.
Oh man, this has just been one of the most exciting first 3 minutes and 14 seconds of overtime you're gonna see. Both of these teams are leaving everything out there. They want to win this right now. They're not out here to play this out.
There's another chance. Tartan really good here in the overtime session. Now back with speed. Here comes Calvin Irondale. Irondale left a drop for Forrest. Irondale goes to the net then. He was tied up front. Out to the point. That shot changed direction, and then it's swept out of harm's way to the near side. With it there, that's Charlie Campbell. Rosenthal gets it to Pavel, and then that one is whipped hard off the boards to the near side. Campbell gets it up ahead. Here's Markford. Markford gives that one a shot. The save is made. A follow-up chance there from Pavel. From the seat of his pants, Markford keeps it alive. Around it goes. Inselman with it. Inselman tried to connect. Loose puck bouncing around. Almost a dangerous turnover. Now at center ice. Taken down, Bennis, no call. Here's Remore. Remore takes a look, sends it on the far side, a one-touch by Forrest. That's gonna go right to one of the Titan players. Here in front of us, swooping in on that was Remackle. His pass offline for Shire. Shire peels it off the boards, gets it to Remackle. Remackle sends it to the far side. Tesser with it. Run into there by the Irondale player. That allows the puck to come in. Wow, another skipper right in on McGuire. Now being pressured is Shire. He'll bank that one up ahead to McClellan. He couldn't get a handle on that one. And at center ice, it's played by Christie. That one will be tossed in. Big save, big rebound. Boy, they're just firing shots at McGuire from all over the ice, Patrick.
Absolutely, even from deep in the neutral zone.
Now with it, here comes Parent. Parent to McClellan. He'll take the shot. That's a stick save. Jorgensen collects the rebound on the far side, feathers that one down to McClellan. McClellan's tripped up, and there's going to be a penalty. 2:43 remaining, and Gunnar Christie is going to sit 2 minutes. He got his stick caught up in the skates of the Tartan player.
Absolutely, and it was definitely a justified penalty, but this is again where you on both sides need to stay focused. If you're Tartan, you've given up a shorthanded goal in the game. You can't worry about that, but you also can't forget about that either. Now, if you're Irondale, you're going to have some nerves because you're shorthanded in overtime with your season on the line. We're going to get a timeout taken here.
The numbers. Go ahead, Patrick.
This is where the coaches need to come in and say, hey, you know what you need to do. You got this.
The number 6 seed Tartan Titans with an opportunity in overtime for a sudden victory win to advance to the semifinals. 2:43 remains in this first overtime session. You get a look at both benches there, everyone huddling up. Coach Leach on the right for Tartan, Coach Hayes on the left for Irondale. Tartan on the evening 0 for 2 on the power play. This is a golden opportunity here. Glad to have you with us, folks, on SCC TV. Patrick Lilia, Bernie Kelcher from the Cathedral of Minnesota Hockey in St. Paul, Aldrich Arena. Aldrich will host the Section 4A and 4AA semifinals and finals.
I think it's so interesting is they host every game, all 14 of those combined between the two sections. There are a couple other sections do that. I think in 5AA, at least on the girls' side, they play all of those games at Roseville. But I think that kind of makes it kind of more interesting too.
It does, and for a St. Paul native, I've talked about it ad nauseum. This building means a lot to the people on the east side. Face off inside of the Irondale zone. Chance for Tartan. Here's Markford with it. They'll look to get it set up. Markford sent it out front to Bennis. That one deflects. It's scooped up by McClellan. He'll cycle that one back, gets it up top. McClellan, toe drag, had it, lost it. There's Parent. With it is Harden. Can he clear? No. McClellan with a great keep. They swat at it, and then it's finally played out to center. Again, I can't underscore this enough. On the season, Irondale has scored 6 shorthanded goals. Calvin Irondale is a threat. Irondale with the puck. Irondale, can he break free? Irondale, a shorthanded rush. He tried to one-hand it and was denied by McGuire. Here's McClellan, a minute 13 to go in the 5-on-4. Bennis fumbled that one momentarily, regained it. A turnover at center ice with Calvin Irondale would be very, very costly. A minute to go in the 5-on-4. Thus far, it's been better chances for Irondale. Here's Forrest. Forrest had it swiped away and a nice play by Shire. They'll try to lead the rush with 49 seconds to go in the power play. A minute 30 in the first OT session. Shire turns on the Jets. Shire carries it into the zone. Shire got to the hash marks and then just couldn't control it.
Yeah, well, then a face-off will come in the offensive zone as you see Shire kind of slow to get up. I mean, all of these players have just left everything that out there on the ice. We talked about, you don't want to be the guy to worry too much about who's going to save the day or kind of get ribbed on Monday, who's not going to want to go to school. But
yes,
there's so much on the line. It's not just keeping your season alive, but it's the last time you're going to be out there with these guys for one of these teams tonight, and that's always the most difficult part about it for everybody when the game comes to an end and you didn't pull it out. But it's also the last time you hate to say it, but the last time a lot of these guys are going to play hockey, and that's it's
absolutely. So again, the winner of this game goes on to the semifinals and will face the number 2 seed, Chisago Lakes. That game will be here next Tuesday at Aldrich Arena. So far, it's been all chalk, the higher seeds winning. I was saying this earlier. I had to call a previous game to this where Chisago Lakes just dusted Simley. That third period of that game, Patrick, was a running time. It was 7-0 after 2. And I had said, it has to be strange knowing when you're down by 7, you know the game is over, and that these are going to be the last 17 minutes of hockey you're playing with buddies that you've played with since squirts. And in that game, Simley put in their backup goaltender, who was a senior, to get the last 17 minutes. It's always tough for me to watch those games because the parents get very emotional. This one, there's so much drama, sudden death, sudden victory. The boys just aren't thinking about it, and it won't hit them until after. 39 seconds to go in the power play for Tartan. 1:21 to go here in the overtime session. Session number 1. Opportunity for Tartan to advance. Face-off win there for Rutherford, but it's controlled and sent out by Irondale. Here's Shire. Shire, dipsy doodles in. Shire rips a shot. The save is made. Kind of an awkward little save there by Lockwood.
You kind of ate him up a little bit.
Did. The goalies now, you just saw that little look. Do I have that one under control, or is the puck sort of plinkoing around? This faceoff will be to the left of Lockwood. It'll be Irondale against Remackle. Bennis sent that one into the corner. 20 seconds to go in the 5-on-4. Here's Remackle. He'll look to get it set up. Markford with it. Up top, they play catch. Markford up top again. McClellan, they send it down low. Parent with a shot. That one was turned aside. It was blocked. Penalty time is going to be over here momentarily on Christie. Irondale's full strength. Now with speed through neutral. Here's Remackle. Remackle tries to get around the defense, and at the last second, Remore stymied that rush. Did not bite on that fake. Markford eases that one around. 28 seconds to go in this overtime session. Loose puck. Here comes Calvin Irondale. Irondale had it swiped away, and a nice play by Bennis. Bennis swings it over to Parent. Parent in the middle. McClellan has it. McClellan gives it back to Parent. His shot comes in. A breadbasket save is made by Lockwood.
Ooh, that was a really good shot. It was one of those plays we talk about, you look at it just it's a long shot, but it ends up being harder than I think the goalman Lockwood was thinking it was going to come in off the bat.
And there was a maze of bodies in front of him. Huge face-off here in the defensive zone. It's a win by Tartan. Pavel sends that one wide. Campbell leans on his man. Just 7 seconds to go. Here's Tesser. Wines, fires. Missed wide. He had a possibility of a deflection out front. That's going to do it. Buzzer sounds, and we are going to head to a second overtime session. So what we're going to do, we'll just make sure of this. We're going to watch the teams. I'm looking at the Zamboni. The doors are opening. The teams are going to head to their dressing rooms. We'll get the Zamboni out here. We'll put 17 minutes on the clock, and we'll play overtime session number 2. You ready for that, Patrick?
Oh, sometimes, I don't like to talk about myself as an announcer perspective, but it's, because I'm not the focus of the game, but sometimes the announcers kind of have to ground themselves as well, because it gets to be, you feel your heart racing, because, you and I'm a play-by-play guy by trade like you are.
Yes.
And, you're like, we don't want to get a name wrong for a season-saving goal, or
yes.
we kind of have to ground ourselves a bit too.
Yeah. I've never called a goal wrong. Oh, wait, I did earlier tonight. So the shots on goal in that overtime session, by the way, folks, were in favor of Tartan by an 8-6 margin. They still trail in the game 40-28. Zamboni is out, going to spin a few laps, give us a nice clean surface, and then we'll be ready and we'll be back to start the second overtime session with the winner going on to the semifinals. Glad to have you here tonight, folks, from SCC TV from Aldrich Arena. We're headed to the second overtime, tied at 2, folks. Glad to have you with us.
Buckle up!
Nobody
is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your K9 fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
Hello again, everybody. Glad to have you with us this evening on SCC TV, along with Patrick Lilia, Bernie Kelcher. After overtime, an 8-minute abbreviated overtime session, we're still knotted at 2, Patrick.
Yeah, we saw both teams in that first overtime. They were going all out to try to get this game won. And, maybe now that you're going to a full-length 17-minute period, your strategy might change a bit. I think based on just that, but also, your guys are really going to be kind of spent by this point. So we might see a shift in a little more conservative strategy, I think, coming into this second overtime. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, both teams had great chances in that overtime period. Tartan had the power play. See, McGuire had that opportunity there, and that was a tough chance there. I beg your pardon, not McGuire, with the chance there with the
McClellan.
McClellan, right, had the chance to get the and then Irondale with the shorthanded opportunity. He got kind of stood up from behind right at the last moment. Power play's not been kind to anybody in this game.
No. The shots on goal, I look at the shots on goal. Sure, it's the scoring opportunities, and that's been close to even throughout this entire game. We'll see who's got the best conditioning now at this point. This is where you skated all those practices, you lifted all those weights. We'll see if you can get a game winner here in the second overtime session, and if not, we'll just keep playing until we find a winner. You got anything else to do tonight?
I think my plans have been canceled.
Mine have been changed. I'm just going to bring my son home down in the corner there. How does that sound?
But where else would you rather be than right here?
Nowhere else here. The Cathedral of Minnesota Hockey, Aldrich Arena. We'll be back in just a bit, folks, with the OT session. Okay, folks, here we go. Second overtime session ready to begin. 17 minutes on the clock. Sudden death, sudden victory. Irondale moving from right to left across your monitor. Tartan from left to right. We are underway. Nice clean surface here. That one is ripped in. Shire tracks it down in the near corner. Puck comes back to him. Now on the end boards, he'll rip it around from McClellan. McClellan one touches that one, no icing. Races on, getting to it first in his own zone is Remore. Remore peels it off the boards, takes a look, out tentatively. Now he connects with Forrest. Forrest one touches it to Irondale. He had it stripped at center ice. McClellan swoops in on the loose puck. McClellan leaves a drop pass for Parents. He lost it. Now back another way. Transition. Inselman. He'll toss that one in and then go in after it. Shire takes a look over his shoulder before he plays it. Sends it to the middle, a big turnover, and then a glove save made. McGuire saw that one off the way on the rip from Remore.
Yeah, Remore kind of had that puck come to him on the carom as Remore elected to wind up for the long blast. But, that's kind of a tough shot because even though, you're taking it that's a hard shot, like physically to blast.
Yes.
But, it also gives the goaltender a great opportunity to see it.
Yep. Another shot from Remor. That one is turned aside, steered up and out of play by McGuire. A couple of quick shots on goal here in the second overtime stanza. This faceoff will be to the right.
Yeah, it's going back to that previous one. I think that's the one you're hoping maybe the goaltender's a little bit out of position or kind of looking in a different direction when the shot comes in. But as you said, McGuire saw that one all the way.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I mean, there's no such thing as a bad shot, right? But you can be a little picky, but I like throwing that one on net. Now with it.
Oh, no, it was a good shot.
Reversing it there is Luttrell. Pavel gets it up ahead. After it now, this is Campbell. Campbell puts on the brakes. Tartan in the midst of a change. Here's Pavel with a shot. Whistled one just wide. Puck comes back to Pavel. He'll send that one down low. After it is Rutherford. Takes a look over his shoulder. Feeds that one to Campbell. It jumped on him. And this allows Christie to play it. It'll be played outside of the line. Bennis sends it cross corner. Tartan changing up on the fly here. Scooting out to center. Here's Remor. Remor glides into the attacking zone. Kept to the outside. Remor lost the handle on it. Regains it. Tried to send one out front. Christie is covered and smothered there by Pavel. Now getting in on the loose puck is Christie. Christie looking, sends one to the slot. Nobody home. McClellan turns on the Jets, tries to get around the man. He was held up, no call. That one is nudged to the far corner by Deschno. Tartan fans wanted a call there. There's a shot. That one glances off the glove of Lockwood, and then that was chipped out to center. Shire with it, waits for his teammates to get onside, retreats into his own zone, and then connects with Parent. Parent wanted to get that one in deeper, didn't do so, and that allows Deschno to have that. Deschno tried to get it ahead to Inselman. Inselman couldn't touch that to the middle to keep the entry alive. Forrest is harassed, played it up the near boards. Markford waits for his teammate to get onside, and then sends it in and goes in after it. Markford tried to power past Harton. Harton sealed that one up very well. Cross-ice pass. Forrest controls it. Forrest has got Irondale with him. Forrest walks in, takes the shot, blocked by Shire out of harm's way. Markford behind his own net. Off the boards, gets it up ahead to Parent. Parent can't clear it. It's stolen, and it comes right back to Parent. This outlet pass for McClellan out of his reach, and now Tartan will get fresh bodies out on the ice. With it at center is Irondale. Shifts his way in. Irondale had it swiped away at the last moment. Back and forth hockey here. 13:45 in the OT. Campbell ripping in off the wing. Campbell gliding, looking, sends it out front. Nobody home. It was off of the stick of Forrest. Long pass. That fails to connect. Now in his own zone with it there, that was Remackle. Connects with Luttrell. Luttrell gains the red line and then just skips that one in. Lockwood will put the stick down and then the glove down, and he'll freeze it, and we'll have a face-off.
And I think it seems kind of counterintuitive because, the tension is higher than it was at any point in the game. But, you've gotten through the first overtime. Everybody's gotten to kind of sit and chill out. There's no more loud rushes from the crowd whenever the play comes into their offensive zone. So everybody's a little bit calmer. They're playing with a little bit more focus than I think they were in that first over.
Absolutely. Now Christie was locked up. With it, here comes Remor. Remor got that one on the right wing to Bodine. He lost it. There was a player trapped in the zone for Tartan, so they had to hold up. Now with it, here's Bodine. Bodine had it stripped from behind. Nice pickpocket there by Pavel. Comes right back to Remor. He ducks underneath the check, runs into the linesman. Undeterred, he gets the puck back. Remor with a shot, glove save made. McGuire is not going to get beat on the glove side.
No, he was just kind of waiting for it like a pitcher throwing a fastball to him at spring training, which just got started up in the last few days, and doing his best spring catcher impression.
Yeah. Now in the face-off circle, Remackle against Irondale. Irondale with a clean win. Forrest sent one out front for Inselman. Bennis plays it off now through center with speed. Here's Remackle. Remackle goes wide, takes the shot, back against the grain. That one was wide. Bennis sends that one around into the corner. With it, here is Harton. Harton banks it up ahead to center. Bennis will control that one and throw it back into the zone. Now, loose puck. Romacko is going to get to it first. Swoops in on that one. He's got Harton draped all over him. He'll play it out to the point. That one is sent around there by Rosenthal. Puck is glued to the boards. Race is on. Rosenthal had it, couldn't do anything with it. There's McClellan, ties up his man, and that's now nudged to center. Remore with it. They've got numbers if they hurry. Remore dishes it off to Inselman, and that one just trickles in on McGuire, and he calmly freezes that one.
That was really good defensive positioning in front by, I beg your pardon, that's Josh Markford, who was in front, and he was right in the place you want him to be.
Absolutely. 5 minutes have elapsed here in the second overtime session. 12 minutes remain. Tied at 2. Winner advances to the 4A semis and faces Chisago Lakes next Tuesday. Off the draw. Markford had it stripped. Out front, they fed that one. They were looking to get that one to Mason Irondale. Markford sweeps that one through center. Here's Shire in his own zone. Turns away, didn't like what he saw, got it up ahead. Now Pavel. Pavel frees it up ahead with it. Here's a chance. That one was just a pad save there. Campbell had a look. He really didn't get much of a shot. The net became dislodged.
Yeah, that was really good presence by Lockwood. Again, we've talked about it a couple of times. He made himself really big on the edge of the crease, and really that chance. You know, I know it was a drive right from there, but that shot really had no chance.
They had no chance, and here's Campbell. It's just, you're jammed in so tight. I don't know. The only way you can go there is 5-hole. Lockwood shut him down. Irondale against McClellan in the face-off circle to the right of Lockwood. Irondale with the win, gets it to Remore. He'll try and send that one around for Forrest. Forrest chips it up the near boards, and it goes right to Luttrell. Team straight possession. Here's Forrest. He'll just ease that one in. McGuire had it get loose on him. He tried to cut it off. Luttrell with it. Shot out of a cannon out of his own zone. Didn't secure the red line as well as he could have. Now the loose puck. Forrest is after it. McGuire's going to let that one go. I thought he might come out to play that one. Chose not to. Remackle goes to work on Deschneaux. Deschneaux sealed up that rush. And Deschneaux gets that one over to Remore, who sends it to Forrest. That puck was behind Inselman. That allows Remackle to dump that one in, and he'll peel off. He's at the end of his shift.
And maybe going back to that decision by McGuire to let that puck go, maybe in the regular season you go out and challenge that, but I think he was, you know, at this point in a double overtime sectional game, don't put myself in a position for a crazy thing to happen. Just let my teammate help take care of it. If Forrest comes in on a chance, I'll put that on me to make sure he doesn't get it by.
I could not agree with you anymore. And that's one of the dangers, is playing tentatively now as a goalie or as anyone. You are going to play a little bit differently, because in the back of your mind, you're going to say, I don't want to make the mistake. Face off at center ice. It's Rutherford against Christie. Campbell with it. Goes skate to stick. Campbell powers through it, still in the corner. Campbell runs into the referee trying to get out of the way. Campbell stepped on the puck, tried to feed one in the middle to Rutherford. That one glances off of 2 pairs of skates. Campbell will send that one in. Off the end boards. Harton with it. Almost had it stripped, managed to deliver the pass to Mason Irondale. Irondale comes in off the left wing. That one was deflected wide. Rutherford will get to that one. Overskated it, and it's played out to neutral. Player was trapped in, so Irondale has to wait. Now they carry it in. Irondale sends that to the end line. With it there, that's Rosenthal. Can't clear. In the corner, on the far side, with it there, that was Cisneros. Check that. Yes, that was Cisneros. Rutherford had it. Teams trading possession. Here's Parent. Tried to go outside, inside, but Remore didn't fall for that one. Remore then a nice shoulder check. Here's Parent. Parent takes the shot. That one handcuffed Lockwood, but he managed to squeeze that one.
Yeah, that was kind of a tricky shot to handle, as kind of almost muffed it.
I'm just getting a kick out of this. This is a good shot. One of the players from Tartan went by down low. I was watching my son down there, And they just nodded at my son as if to say, we're having a good time tonight there. Assistant AD. That was Shire when he went by the boards. Now in the corner, Parent comes up with it. He's dueling there with Deschneaux. Deschneaux sends that one around for Forrest out to center ice. It hopped on Inselman. Inselman gets it back, chips and chases. Got hog-tied, no call. Players in a heap on the end boards, and that one is played. Referee's going to put away their whistles on that play every time. Deschneaux with it. Long pass at center ice, connects with Inselman. Inselman fades it off on the right. That was Irondale, tried to cut inside. Now Forrest has it. He'll gallop into the attacking zone. Kept to the outside by Tesser. Forrest looking, sends it up top. That one glanced off the stick there of Bodine. The Knights have to regroup. Here's Forrest. Cross ice pass is going to come out. 8:25, just past the midway point here in the second overtime session. Shifts are very short now for both teams. Here's Tesser. Calling for it is Markford. Instead, Tesser's going to send that one in, and he'll head off. Deschneaux sends it around, and it's played out to center. Things have settled down here a little bit. Shire starts to crank it up. He likes to rush it. Shire tries to get through all the defense. Shire with a shot on goal and a save made. Good rush there from the defenseman, Devin Shire.
Yeah, we've talked about a number of times tonight stating that, you know, he'd been the best player on the ice for Tartan for a lot of the night, and I think Irondale has kind of figured him out. That they've, no pun intended, put him on ice a little bit more over the last half of the game.
Yes, they have. Face-off win here for Tartan. Can they keep it alive? No. Luttrell bobbled it. Now with it, here comes Mason Irondale. That one just slithers in, chipped out of the harm's way by McGuire. Markford will reverse it over to Pavel. Pavel runs into Deschneaux. Still manages to get the puck out of the zone. Remore will just shovel that one in on the backhand. After it here is Jorgensen. He'll flick it over here to Bennis. Bennis up the wall, but that one is gobbled up and played by Deschneaux. Here's Christie. Walks in, takes the shot, blocker save made by McGuire. Failed clearing attempt. It's held in, now comes out to center. Campbell gets it to Parent. He wanted to get that one in deep, and then his stick just shattered. He'll scoot over to the bench. He'll grab a stick, and he'll stay out on the ice. Bodies all over the place. Now here's a rush. With it, here comes Remore. Crisscrosses with Forrest. That shot off the crossbar. A laser absolutely clanks off the crossbar. Back the other way, here's McClellan. He'll take a shot. Blocker save is made. End-to-end action. Both teams trading scoring chances. That one skips past Parent, and it skips past Shire all the way back into the Tartan zone. No icing. Here comes Shire. Weaves his way through traffic. Shire gets around, he's hauled down, no call. Crowd incensed at that no call. Tesser with it. Tesser navigating through traffic, and then we get a stoppage. I guess it was offside. Boy, there's a whole highlight reel, a whole package of highlights from that last couple of shifts.
Oh man, we got to see that near miss one more time. Is he coming in with it? Too bad we don't have the overhead shot. That was close.
A direct shot to the crossbar there from Logan Forrest. Forrest, the leading scorer. He has a goal in tonight's game. He got the first tally for the Knights, his 20th of the season. Now right here in front of us. With it is Campbell. Campbell gives that to Pavel. Pavel walks in, takes a shot. Didn't have a lot of juice on that one, but he put it on net. Lockwood made the save.
Yeah, it was one of those little sort of shovel shots that I think are a little more difficult than they look. You know, it's just kind of a softie, but yeah, when you kind of get that angle and sort of the fluttering rotation, I think that kind of eats up the goalie a little bit more.
Absolutely. Shots on goal in this overtime session, favoring Tartan by a 7-4 margin. Now the puck is loose. It's going to come all the way back, and coming up with that one is Rosenthal. Rosenthal pressured. Here's a turnover. Forrest had it, lost it. Pavel slides that one out to center ice. Campbell couldn't do anything with it. Now the puck just lies there. Who wants it? Campbell. I'll claim it. He's going to carry it in. Puts on the brakes. He's watched closely by Hart and sends one in. And then in the vicinity there was Rutherford, but Lockwood was able to smother that one.
Yeah, Rutherford going right to the net. I think if that pass is a little more on target, maybe there's a better scoring chance, but I think it just kind of came into Lockwood on the fly. Not much of an opportunity there for the Titans.
Ramacko against Irondale. Inselman jumps the gun. Centers just leaning all over each other right now in this face-off. It's a face-off win for the Titans. There's Parent. He'll send that one down low. Ramacko is after it. He's going to deliver a reverse hit. Goes right to McClellan out front. Parent with a chance. It's loose. It's still loose. Up with it now. Here comes Irondale. Sent it on the right wing to Inselman. Almost overskated it. Settles it down. Gives it back to Irondale. It just bounced off his stick. Tartan has had the better scoring chances in overtime. Now here's a chance. Irondale plays catch with Forrest. They send it around. Irondale gets to that one first. Leaves that one for Cisneros. Cisneros had it, lost it. It's shoved to the far corner. Cisneros comes up with it. Players not sure what to do here. Cisneros has it. They're just grinding it away. Now finally it pops free. That shot whipped just wide. Irondale didn't miss by much. Tartan comes back out. This will be an icing call. It's the most amazing thing. You know what, Patrick? We had so many icing calls. There haven't been hardly any in overtime.
No, as we said, it's kind of been an end-to-end game here in the overtime period. You see a chance there for the Titans that just kind of got snuffed out in front.
Oh, sectional hockey in Minnesota is the best. That's a face-off win for Tartan. They'll get it out of the zone. Harton plays that one in. It bounced off of the backup goalie, Casper. So let's see where this face-off takes place. It'll be at center ice. 4:26 to go. They'll play on this dirty ice. We'll probably, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but there's 4:26 to go. If there's no goal, we'll have another 3-minute break, I believe, and play on this same dirty ice.
Maybe another 8-minute.
It'll be the 8th session, right? Yep. Here's Harton with it. Surveys the ice from behind the Knights' cage. Pressured there. He'll reset it. Gets that one over to Remore. Tentatively out of the zone, now up ahead with it. Here is Irondale, Mason Irondale. Send one to the front. He was trying to connect with Christie. He was all tied up there with Jorgensen. Campbell with it. Tried to connect with Pavel. Couldn't do so. Loose puck. Who wants it? It bounces back into the Knights zone. Harton will settle down and retrieve this rolling puck. He was pressured by Pavel. Pavel tries to create a turnover, gets it to James. James had it knifed away there by Remore. Remore connects with Irondale. Irondale gains the red line, sends one in. That one is gloved and held by McGuire. McGuire hasn't touched the puck in a while here. We'll have a face-off to his right with 3:26 to go. What's curfew time around here?
2 a.m. No, I was going to say, we're kind of getting to the point. We've seen them, kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. But as we start to get toward the end of the session, we'll probably start to see them kind of play more aggressively like they were in that first overtime again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I told my wife, it's a good game. Should be home 9:30, 10 o'clock. When I waltz in at 1 o'clock, it'll be, this was a good game. This was a great game. 3:15 to go here. Shots on goal for the game. 44-36 in favor of the Knights. But the overtime sessions, Titans have cut it down considerably. Off the face-off, that one hit traffic. With it here is Deschanel. Sent it down to Irondale, but Bennis is there. James claims the puck in his own zone, banks it up ahead, but that one was intercepted. He'll have to reset. Tries to fire that one up the wall again. And it's held in the zone. Titans can't clear. Bouncing puck. Parent will nudge that one out to center. Parent whips that one in. That one is turned aside. McClellan with it, glides in, calling for it. It was Parent, but McClellan blew a tire. Now Parent with it. The boys seem very tired right now. Play is really slowed down. Here's Deschanel. Gets that one over. Galloping through neutral is Irondale. Irondale, shoulder shake, sends one in. The save was made, and then with it was Shire. Shire connects with Pavel. Pavel tries to turn on the Jets. Pavel, can he clear? Pavel comes in, storms the cage. The puck is there. Here's a chance. It's a goal. It's a Tartan overtime winner, and it's Devin Shire.
I wasn't sure if they were going to blow that dead with all the bodies colliding in front of the net and Lockwood getting knocked down. But the puck worked its way back out onto the lip of the right circle for Shire. And we've talked about his name all night long. And the number 6 seed Titans have the upset in double overtime.
The Irondale fans are beside themselves. They want goalie interference. The initial rush came in. There was contact with Lockwood. Lockwood was down and out. Devin Shire swooped in on the loose puck and absolutely buried it. Now, there's boos cascading down from the student section. The referees are having a conversation over at the scorer's table. Nobody from Irondale has left. I don't see a lot of acrimony, though, on the Knights bench, Patrick.
No, I don't either. And I think Shire, initially was kind of telling his teammates, get back, I don't know if he was saying, they might change their mind about this. And
long discussion's going to ensue right here. Coach Jerry Hayes. They've announced the goal for Shire, his second of the game. Here's a look at the game-winning goal. The rush was initially by Pavel. He makes contact with the goalie. McClellan had a chance, and there is Shire. The goalie is down. I think it's a good goal.
Yeah, I think that's a tough break, as now we do start to see some Knights players filing in toward the handshake line, as not all of them have come out yet. And
Coach Hayes still pleading his case. It's going to be a losing case. It's going to be a losing argument, but he is very hot about this.
Yeah, and I can see why. I'm not saying it was the right call or the wrong call. When you see a player topple over your goaltender, that's tough to take. And as we had mentioned, this is it. Irondale, this is the last time these guys are going to be together, and
yeah,
a lot of them, I think, feeling like maybe it could have ended a little differently.
There's the contact with the goalie, and actually you had contact with the goalie, and you had Pavel in the crease. Time of that goal, the game winner was 14:46.
Yeah, and I think the official, right on top of it, they saw Deschanel push Pavel into Lockwood. I think at least that's probably the angle that he had, and it wasn't a lot of contact. They're pretty liberal that, if you push somebody into your goaltender, like, we're going to see it, we're not going to call it. And what a win for Tartan. That's about as heartbreaking as it gets. If you're Irondale, watching your season end when you think maybe it wasn't the right call, but Tartan, they earned this win tonight, and they'll have that opportunity against the 2-seed Chisago Lakes.
So the lone upset in the Section 4A brackets, the Tartan Titans upset the number 3-seeded Irondale St. Anthony Knights, and they will advance now to play against Chisago Lakes on Tuesday. All right, what do you think, Patrick? Here's one last replay. Pavel streaks in off the wing. The defenseman does push him into the goalie. Pavel has nowhere to go, and there's Shire. Wow.
And you've got the ref right behind the net. This wasn't something he was making from the blue line. He was right behind the net. I mean, and I there's nothing you're feeling good about right now if you're Irondale, and your heart kind of breaks to realize that. But
yeah, it's tough. I'm watching Logan Forrest. He's inconsolable right now. You've got both teams in such polar opposites, right? Tartan, ecstatic, and then there's Logan Forrest, who's played his last game in high school hockey, and he's very emotional about it. Overtime win for Tartan, a 3-2 victory in the second overtime stanza, and they advance. And we'll see what they can do with Chisago Lakes. The team seems to be playing well. There's the official scores. Look at the shots on goal. Tartan outplayed Irondale in the overtime sessions. At the end of regulation, folks, the shots on goal were 34-20 in favor of Irondale. In the 2 overtime sessions, Tartan outshot Irondale by a 18-14 margin. That's not correct. I've got it at 18-10 margin. They earned this one.
No, they absolutely did. And Devin Shire, he was the best player on the ice for Tartan, as we've said numerous times by now. Had that goal in the first period, and then he's got the goal to win the game.
There are the updated brackets, folks. Number 1, Montemedi takes on number 4, Hastings. And then number 2, Chisago Lakes takes on the upstart number 6, Tartan Titans. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight on SCC TV. I hope you enjoyed the entire production. Fantastic camera work. Patrick, love your color commentary. Couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you. It was great to be in with you with Mr. Bernie Kelcher, the world's greatest play-by-play announcer, as he bills himself, or was it world's favorite play-by-play announcer?
Your favorite hockey announcer.
Favorite. Okay,
That's
your
exactly
favorite
it.
hockey announcer. So we'll kind of narrow the scope, but I think it's fitting tonight.
Once again, folks, from Aldrich Arena in St. Paul, the final score, Tartan 3, Irondale 2. For Patrick Lilia, this is Bernie Kelcher saying so long.